Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So here is the interview I did with my brother. I'm putting it up for you guys. It's really long. It's too long in my opinion, but many of you reacted badly to the idea of me cutting it. So the reason I've put the actual edit up here so you can see what's happening is these are breaks. There's a couple of edits in here. You can see them basically along the green line because we just left this camera running. And there's a few edits at the end because Emma came in and talked, and it's just a mess. And it was off topic. It was about picking up the kids and things like that. So that's all that's there. Everything else is like straight up as it was, besides going to the bathroom and getting like fresh bottles of water. You can see he immediately came back from this break. He's got a fresh bottle of water. Same again. He got another bottle of water and kept needing a pee. There are a few things in here I probably would have chosen to actually remove. I'm not going to lie, because we're muddling through some bad memory stuff, and also it takes about half an hour, I would say, for us to really get going with it. It's the first time my brother's ever been interviewed, as far as I know, so it does take some time to get into the flow of things. The middle section is mostly gaming related, how my brother got me into gaming, a bit of reminiscing. The latter section is some questions he had for me, some stuff about Andy, and I'll pre-warn you now, it's the first time me and my brother ever spoke about the day my dad died. And it's a little tough to get through. It's a little bit tough to get through. So there's things like that in there where we're trying to piece things together and retell stories, and both of us not really understanding each side of each other's tale in some regards. So it gets a bit confused and we keep having to go a bit back and forth. It's not the cleanest thing. But I think many of you might find it interesting to know a bit more about me and the life I had coming into this. So I'll let it go. I've done this point of view because you can see I was actually sat on my own on this side of the room where I am now. And my brother was on the other side of the room. So I did this POV because it kind of looks like we're just looking at each other. I think it works kind of well, although you can see the back of the head. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, the complete raw of this happening. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to do something I probably should have done about 6 years ago, at some point in there, which is when you made your first appearance on the Council of Ballers. I think is the first time anyone would have seen you.
It was the film, yeah.
I'm joined by my brother, where we're going to have a little discussion because you're kind of responsible for me playing video games at all.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. And it all started from there. And also, people brought it up because after Andy left, people found out you were the first person I called that day. To talk about it and kind of work through that because it was obviously a big thing that happened here.
Yeah.
And that's people like, well, who the fuck is this guy? Because you see the Twitch chat, we see you in all these different places. But in terms of who the hell you are, it's probably worth saying hello.
Hello, chat.
Hello to you. And now the first thing you said to me is I was talking to the stream this morning about you and telling stories. Is I got everything wrong. My memory's garbage.
Well, you started talking about Mum and her side. Now, I didn't know about some of that, although I do know. Like I say, I was confused for a minute because you were changing names.
Yes.
But I knew who you were talking about.
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, so he's doing that. And they are a rum family.
They are. They
and
are indeed.
The big lad, the young lad who you were talking about, who's friends with the Pikeys and stuff. Yeah, he's smashing.
He's amazing.
I knew him since he was like a little kid.
Same. I mean,
and then all of a sudden he's like 6'4".
I think he's bigger. Than that. I think
boxing.
He's 6'7" now.
He was like
Thai boxer.
He was on telly.
Yep.
Kicking ass, Thai boxing.
Until he got stabbed, I believe. He got stabbed.
All right.
Took him out of it. Yeah, I think he got stabbed in the leg, and that kind of put him out of his Thai boxing career. But for context, this is it's a part of the family that we don't see very often. I don't see him very often. It's my mother's side of the family, who are responsible for my baldness. I always claim, as you can probably tell, my brother has a full head of hair. Thank you very much for that. But they live in a different world compared to the world I live in. But it's the world you grew up in. And I spent a lot of time there as a kid.
Yeah, Partington, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very strange place. They live in this town called Partington, which seems segregated off from the rest of the world. It's like its own pocket universe. And visiting there, I mean, it was where I got shot at. My cousin, we'll call him Tim, took me on dog walking, where I was walking along the canal and suddenly pellet guns were being fired at us.
Standard.
Apparently so.
Standard.
Not for me where I live. And we had to hide in an old piece of sewer pipe for about 20 minutes until the firing stopped. And basically, they said it's standard, is these guys hang out on the other side of the river.
Caddy's-Head.
Yeah, Caddy's-Head. They hang on the other side of the river and they literally just fire at people walking past on the other side of the river. Because apparently there's a war between Partington and Caddy's-Head, which...
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, they'd be fighting on the railway bridge. but you'd be like almost an invisible line that nobody crossed. So you see it like 100 caddies head lads all run up to this line, and then the pints lads would all run up towards the line, and they'd be just backwards and forwards.
Like a tug
I
of
mean,
war.
rocks throwing a bit, and loads of swearing and threatening, and you know, as far as I'm aware, nobody ever got hurt. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, it was a weird experience for me, and it was kind of the start of me going, I don't really want to go here anymore. This is too weird for my wheelhouse.
Saying that, you see, the place where you were with me dad in the pubs, like Miles Platting, 10 times rougher.
Apparently, but I felt safer.
Much
there.
harder.
I never got
people.
shot at there.
Well, you would get really shot.
Yeah,
they wouldn't
apparently,
shoot you with
yeah.
their rifles.
I have to say, we drove past there recently, and it's full of heroin now. So we, yeah, my mum said, let's go and when mum was back, because my mum lives in Qatar now. She was back for a little while. She said, let's go on a memory lane because we were nearby. Drove past our old pubs because my dad was a landlord. And it was just terrible. It was bad. There was people throwing up on the street. I mean, we only drove through, and you know, people trying to climb over bridges and all sorts of stuff. I was like,
there was all sorts going on in that pub. We had a load of Scottish fellas walked in the pub one evening. My dad's like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" They'd only been across the road in the other pub, shot somebody, killed him, walked him in our pub for a drink. Locked the doors, like, you know, like no police or anything. Yeah, it was like.
Yeah,
no idea who they were.
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
for sure.
My dad handled it.
Yeah, I was too young to really pick up what was happening there. But in terms of coming back to you, because I'm sure Dad will come up a lot. Yeah. The first, I don't remember seeing you a lot as a kid, but you did save my life. I guess we have to bring that up considering we're doing this interview.
Well, you bring that up. I never talk about it. I know I don't.
You only bring it up every opportunity you have. Is the only reason I'm sat here. Is you saved my life. And I don't know how old I was.
I think so. I mean, yeah, you're still here, so yeah, I guess I did.
Go on. What did you do?
Well, you was a baby, weren't you? So, like,
I don't know.
You're the same age as my son.
Well,
you're a year older than my son.
We should probably address that before we get into that. Is we have different mothers.
Different mothers, same dad.
I've never met your mother.
Neither have I.
And I have a sister as well, which most people don't know, but I've never met.
Yeah, we have a sister.
Yeah, you and my sister come from the same mother. I've never met her. There's a big age gap there, but it never felt that way for me, like ever. Like it was always you were always my brother, always. Yeah. But your son, as you just said, is only 1 year younger than me. So
who I class as your brother as well, almost.
I do as well. Yeah, I feel like I got pretty lucky. Is that
and Andy, I always have Andy in with that as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, Andy was around since I was like 11 years old.
Yeah,
yeah, Andy was around for that entire time. So I was very lucky in that regard, is that I got two brothers, although one was older. But that gave you access to things that you don't get as the same age kids, like computers. And things like that. You started to get into that. But before that, and the first thing I really remember about you, even though you did save my life, which the story is I ate a giant gobstopper.
Somewhat went, like a gobstopper in your mouth and you choked on it. Your mum was screaming downstairs. I dived downstairs. Thought, right, pick you up by your feet, one hand, and just shook you like that, and it came out. Job done. But yeah, you was nearly blue. You was on the way.
I've had experiences like that with my own kids now, so I do know the horror of when they're like, no, give them a crack and get the thing out of the throat. But the first thing I remember is when you were in the army. Is you turned? I don't think I'd seen you for probably a year or something, and you turned up at one of the pubs. I think it was the Robin Hood in an army jeep.
Yeah, the Land Rover shouldn't have done.
You shouldn't have done, and you took me on a ride. I think where you were like 110 down the road. Scared me to death.
It probably felt 110. It's probably about 60. They're just like rattling and shaking and everything. You know, there's pretty tough suspension in the old Land Rovers. That was good.
So you went to the Falklands. Like, I remember it happening, but I don't know why you went.
Back in the day, before computers, do you remember? I was a welder by trade, so I was welding and bored with that. Really fucking bored. So I joined the Royal Corps of Transport, TA, Territorial Army.
Yeah.
You know, the toy soldiers, really. And I thought, well, I'll get an HGV and then I'll do a bit of driving as a job instead of welding, because it wasn't very healthy welding, fumes and just general
again, boring, crap. Right? I mean, that's...
Well, some of it depends. I mean, now I would love it.
Oh, really?
I would love that job now because I'd be interested in the design. But as a young lad, you know, and you have mentioned, I think, because I had you skinning up for me. We did smoke a bit of weed back in the day.
You did teach me how to roll a joint. When I was, I think I'm probably maybe 12 or maybe younger.
Yeah. So anyway, was welding, joined the TA, went to the passed all that, did the HGV license and everything. And then this call came out for Falkland Islands, and me and a few of the guys from our barracks went to the Falkland
Oh, so
Islands.
they didn't send you there for training?
No.
Oh, I thought you'd been... That
It
was
was
like
like-
you joined and then they were like, okay, you trained...
No, so they had the Falklands War,
Yeah.
and then 12 months after it sort of finished, we went over to like do airfield damage repair. So we was driving the big wagons there.
I thought you were just training.
No. We were still at war by rights, but we'd never seen anything.
Yeah.
I didn't see a penguin either when I was there,
You did
although I
see a
believe
man
it's full of them.
smoke a cigarette through his butthole, though. You did see that.
That was on my recruits course, yeah. yeah. Thanks to a guy called Chris Gemma who organised all that.
Yeah.
Our Sammy's godfather, good guy.
He is,
He's still
I've
around
noticed.
and all, Chris. I keep looking on Facebook and he's still there.
Yeah. And then you came back from the army, and you were definitely, for me, you gotten like very into it. Because you
Loved it.
Yeah, you loved it. And you brought back all the camouflage stuff. And the face paint and the sleeping bags. Because I used to sleep in your sleeping bag when I stayed at your house. That's
All right, okay.
Yeah, on James'
Don't remember, but yeah,
Yeah, on
probably.
your son's floor, I would sleep in your sleeping bag. You were very protective over it. You're like, don't do anything to it.
They don't piss.
Don't piss the bed or something like that. Because it was
Yeah.
really comfy.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good sleeping bag. It was like a proper one. But one of the things we used to do at the weekends, and this is kind of what we brought up on the stream, was I would come and stay with you near enough every weekend.
Yeah.
I'd get dropped off or you pick me up, and that was something I looked forward to immensely. Because in the pub, it was obviously very
good.
lonely for me. Because
Yeah.
my mum and dad worked all the time, night
Well,
and day.
that's always worked. He was like that when I was a kid. Well, he was never there. I mean, for years I called him Bob.
Oh, did
And
you?
it was only until I think about 12 or 13 when I'm thinking, it's my dad. I should be calling him Dad. I thought that because my mum wasn't
Yeah.
particularly good on this score, in my opinion. So I'll leave that the other side to our Barbara to say. But yeah, I already. But then I said, I'm going to start calling you Dad.
Oh, did
Because
you
you
actually
are.
say that to him?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
All right. What
Do
did
you
say?
mind? I think I said.
So you called him Bob
Because he
like
never
as a
said
teenager?
anything. No, he never said.
Maybe he felt guilty about it because he'd been away so much and everything that had happened.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well,
So
those
that's why
questions
I'm
I
quite like so. Where he wasn't there for us all the time because he was working, he was always there.
He was providing. is
But
what
he was
doing.
providing. Yeah, he was providing. Yeah, cheers. I've always been there for my kids and for you as well. So
As I'm doing now. Yeah.
as you are with the boys, and like Emma, it was unbelievable.
She's crazy good, isn't she? Yeah, this is why it bothers me. So I get these emails saying,
Best mum
leave
I
Emma.
know.
I will take better care of you. I was like, you have no fucking idea.
No way.
You have
Hey, I
no
tell you what,
fucking
and all.
idea.
Can you imagine if somebody crosses them boys? Oof. You'll go to jail.
Imagine someone crosses her. She's a fucking protective woman.
She is. Yeah.
Doesn't take much to set her off, I tell you. But that's really interesting that you actually told him, I'm going to start calling you Dad. And he was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was quite happy about it. And almost from then we was better mates.
Yeah.
And then we was good mates as the years went on, as I got older. Then started working, at 17 straight out, because he was like, you pay a third of the bills at 16 after they'd left school, or you fuck off.
Well, you do like to bring this up a lot because...
Which is different now, isn't it? It's so different nowadays.
You definitely brought up several times that I had a much easier upbringing than you had in terms of dealing with Dad. Because Dad was very severe as a
To your
person.
mum. That's because of your mum. She was awesome.
Yeah.
She fucking saved my ass so many times when I fucked up.
What did you do? Give us one.
Oh, fucking hell.
Because how much older is my mum than you? Because this is something I brought up on the stream. Is that
We were at school at the same time.
you were at school? At
Yeah,
the
I
same
think
time.
she was like a 5th year and I was a 1st year. So he's about 4 or 5 years, that's all.
Yeah, so the difference
between
would have
me
been
and your
something
mum.
like her being 15 or 16. And,
Yeah, and me
you
being 11.
Not when they got married, obviously. They didn't get married at 15 or anything like that. But there
No.
was a very small age gap between you and my mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Surprisingly, I didn't know, but I didn't. I knew some of her family because they were all Partington as well.
Yeah.
So I did know some of the family. But I didn't know your mum until then. But yeah, your mum pulled me out of the shit many a time with my dad. Nothing offhand that I can think of. I was never really bad. But definitely fucked up now and again, as lads do.
Yeah, as you do. But it's because you got to do a lot of things that I found. I definitely got jealous of. Like you learned to drive on runways in Saudi Arabia, something
Yeah,
like that.
well, he would take us abroad with him if he was working. So we spent a month in Saudi and a month in Jordan. But I was always driving and riding bikes anyway, even
okay.
without him being there. So we always had a motorbike, as I still do. So we was always driving. And driving back in the day in Partington, you could drive a car on the road. I was driving up with my dad's car because he was abroad working. I'd be driving his car. He'd never know
Of course.
because he wasn't here.
Yeah.
And my gran was looking after me.
So is this when you had Gran growing, helping support the weed growing on the windowsill?
That is a story. It is exaggerated. I think the plant got to about 4 inches before it died, mate.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I just know that you were trying to grow weed in your room on the windowsill, and Gran asked
Yeah, I
what
think
it
it
was,
was
and then she
just-
ended up watering it and looking after it or something.
He never got out of the cotton wool. You know, like you put seeds on cotton wool and you
Yeah,
put
yeah.
water on. Like, it never got off there. You know, it never got anywhere. You couldn't. I wasn't like taking leaves off and smoking.
I like
it,
the idea that Gran was like, oh, he's into plants now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could do no wrong in my grand's eyes.
Yeah,
That's-
you do
that
go wrong
without
in
a
Gran's
fact.
eyes. But then, so I remember you. I see you said you were a welder. I could have swore you were a plumber.
No, welder first.
Were you a
Did
welder?
4 years apprenticeship welding and then 2 years on the shop floor. But then quit that. Oh, no, I got made redundant, actually. Massey Ferguson's made redundant. Got a couple of quid, walked out of there. And then went welding at another place in Altrincham, who won't say the name. And then went plumbing with a neighbour. Mr. Kelly, Bill Kelly, the Irish fella. Do you remember Bill?
I
think
don't.
he's still
I'll
around.
tell you the memory that sticks
Nice
out in my
fella.
head because you often have these like one-off memories. I have a memory of us at a weekend because, as I said, I used to look forward tremendously to coming and staying at your place.
Yeah.
Because it was always really fun. Because Jim was there, and I said we were the same age.
Oh, yeah.
So and then you had the 2 girls as well. So we always had loads going on.
Yeah.
Compared to being at the pub, which is when they were working a lot.
Yeah.
And I have a memory of like we turned up. I think it turned up at your house, and then we had to get in the car, and you had this green station wagon, which I think was my dad's old car.
Yeah, Big Mazda 929, I think it was.
Yeah, this like old car, and
Big
then we
estate.
drove to an estate which looked really rough. And then you were like, right, stay in the car. I've got to do a quick job in there, and I'm sure it was a plumbing job. Is in my memory. And I remember
Oh,
you
right,
being in
it's
there
a
for, like,
job, right?
It was
okay.
like 2 hours. And me and Jim were just in the car like, this is fucking mad. This is so boring. And you came out after about an hour and we were like, oh God, he's finished. And you came out and you went, I left my spanner. And then you went back in again. I was like, no, please. That's the memory that sticks in my head of that
I don't
thing that
remember
made
that.
me think that you were a plumber. That I think you had to fix a bathroom or something. But you might have actually been welding or doing some of the pipes or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, could have been sweating them out. You know, I don't know. I don't remember that particular job, but it doesn't surprise me. That would be. I mean, I was probably single at the time then.
No, I don't think so.
I was with the Lord as well.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
So, I mean, it's just the way it was, though. Work comes first. If the money's there, you know, you've got to earn the money, and sometimes there's nobody to look after the kids.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
I've got the
I've
kids,
been in
so-
that scenario myself now. It's like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
things
yeah.
I need to get done. It's as simple as that. Like, I've done podcasts and...
I'm sure leaving
With
them in the
Americans with the
car,
kids
but I mean,
there.
you weren't babies.
No.
So-
Yeah, I don't want to give the impression that you left 2...
Yeah, I'd left
toddlers in
left the
car.
windows up.
No,
See
we
you there, that little
I
brick.
think we had little, like,
breathing
little
for
games
air.
or something like that to play in there.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings us to the games then. So,
Yeah.
you 100% got me interested in computers, 100% interested in games. But I don't know how you got there. Because you just suddenly were like, I'm a computer guy now.
Yeah.
Welding, plumbing, all this, and TA. Now I'm computer man.
Right.
So
Let me tell you.
Go on.
There's somebody in the army. We're in the Falkland Islands, and it's really fucking boring in the evening. So you can either go to the bar to the mess, naffy, and get pissed with all the boys, which is 90% of what we did do. Or a guy had one of the very early Amigas, and it had a flight sim on it, and he took it to the Falklands with him. So he sat in his room playing on this Amiga with a flight sim. And I'm sat in his bed, and I'm like fucking fascinated. What the fuck is this? It was like, whoa, I've never seen anything. There's no computers at my school.
Computers didn't really weren't a thing yet, really. Like they were
No, not when I was at school. There
Yeah,
was
I mean, we both predate the internet pretty much. Like,
I definitely do.
yeah, I mean, it's fledgling when I was a kid. So this was all relatively new stuff.
Yeah, so when I seen that in the Falklands, I thought, oh, I fancy that. So when we came out, I signed up for a load of computer courses, and it all just fucking fit. I was good at it, you know.
Yeah.
Then I got a work placement at Salford College through one of my courses. Because some of the courses, one of the guys there, or some of the guys wanted to keep me on the course to become a trainer. But I didn't want that. I wanted to get out and do the real thing. So I took this, like, not an apprenticeship, but a work placement, as I say, at Salford College. And got the proper job. Then got to a technician role, then a senior technician. Then I was the IT manager.
Yeah, I mean,
That's how it went.
What clicked with you mainly? Was it networking? Like you just understood exactly what was happening there? Because a lot of people.
Oh,
fall
no,
down
I did
with
put a
real
lot of
technical
studying.
networking. Yeah, you did study a lot.
Put a lot of studying.
I remember,
and I had to as well
textbooks you
because
had.
there was some clever people there. pretty much cleverer than me. He was, he was like remember a young Amanda? Taught me
Yes.
everything he knew. Best technician ever. Another guy there called John Rowe. Another clever guy, man. Cleverer than I am. But I think I grafted a bit more.
Yeah.
That's fair to say. Did more like on telephone, so I knew all about telephone systems and wiring. Just because of the background with plumbing
So you're
and
hands-on
understanding.
because obviously.
Oh, yeah. Drilling holes and
hands-on.
shit like that,
Yeah, I find the same thing here. It's like
So, and I had a good manager at the time, if you remember, a crazy guy, little guy called Nick Baker.
I do.
Fucking hell. Yeah. And it all just fit, and that was it then.
So where did gaming come into it then?
Well, Mega Drives were coming out, weren't they?
They were.
That was the first thing, I think. I got you a Master System. I think that was probably one of the first things we got.
I try and think back to my first gaming, and I think at some point when I was really young, I got a Commodore 64.
I don't really remember that.
For schoolwork. So this would have been living in the Robin Hood pub.
Yeah.
My dad
I
was
might not have been around then as such.
I don't think so. I think what happened to me is I kind of got into gaming, then drifted away because we couldn't get games. Because our dad, didn't get it at all.
No.
So he got me a Commodore for work. So he bought like a Commodore with a printer and all this kind of stuff because it was for school stuff. And he basically just bought me a word processor. He might as well got me a typewriter for all intents and purposes.
Yeah,
But
that's all it was then.
Yeah, the only thing I really cared about though was the games. Like I wanted to try these games. So it came with some cassette tape games
Yeah.
that needed like 30 minutes to load.
Yeah.
And it didn't pay off for me. And then ultimately I did ask for a Master System for Christmas. And I remember I definitely was the kid who sneaked down and tried to open the presents in the corners and see what the fuck was going on. And I peeled it back and I saw the Master System logo. And it was the best Christmas ever.
Yeah.
And
That was the start.
That was the start,
it.
but it died a death because my dad...
All right.
we never got any games for it. I think we had Alex Kidd built in.
Yeah.
I think I had something else.
Yeah, you had that space rocket thing. That was a good one, that good game.
I had a couple, and I remember forcing my mum out shopping to go into a game shop. I think my birthday was coming to get a third game, because that's how it was then. You had a game for about 6-7 months, like one game had to last you. And I bought something because the picture on the front looked good. I knew nothing about games themselves.
Right.
Hated it, and I think she'd spent about 50 quid on it at the time, or 40 quid.
This sounds like something I got you.
No, I was with my mum for sure. I remember it relatively clearly because that was when she was like, "You are having no more games," because they just spent, which certainly then was, even now it's a lot of money, and for then it was a really lot of money.
I spent a lot of money on a game for you, and that was crap.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it.
We didn't know where to get. We didn't have Twitch and things to check the games out first.
No, but do you remember I had books and had sellotaped them all together?
Cheat books.
Cheat books, and there was like books explaining what a game was.
Yeah.
And it was like fascinating read. I must have had about 5 or 6 of these all sellotaped together, and I couldn't get it off you guys.
No,
Jim and Andy and Sam and Jen, they were like just reading these things all the time. Yeah.
But then the Mega Drive came. But what I loved actually before we can get to that is when you started building computers at your house, PCs.
Yeah.
You had a room at the back where you.
Yeah, I had one of the very first IBM XTs.
You built the first LAN that I ever the first PC multiplaying I ever did was in that room playing Doom.
Yep.
You managed to get Doom, and I worked through these network things that were like solid pipes that like had big metal ends that screwed into each other.
Oh, B&T cables,
something like that.
Yeah,
some ridiculously old school.
Yeah, well, I used to do stuff on what's called a network. And they'd have like balons in each end, and you just have to like ring these PCs together, one after the other.
If one of them died,
it wasn't like going to a star, like a hub.
Yeah.
It was like, daisy chain.
Literally like bolted together almost with these pipe things and playing.
Well, it wasn't pipe, but you're right, balons.
Yeah, exactly.
Bayonet fittings, yeah.
And that was the first time we ever played multiplayer, and it blew my mind that I was physically playing. I think it was me and Jim playing against each other.
We brought Salford University down with that, by the way. Playing Doom.
Playing Doom?
Playing Doom.
How did you kill a university playing Doom?
You get a few PCs playing Doom, man, and your fucking network dies back in the day because it was shite.
Really?
Yeah, it was on the news and everything. It was fucking... Oh, aye.
How many people?
Well, I didn't really know more because there were some guys that were in other departments, so I was only with one guy, and it was me and him who generally, as tech, set it all up at Salford Uni. It ground the network down.
Proud of that, though, aren't you? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't do it now.
And everyone was kicking ass and fragging. But also the PCs weren't really there in terms of gaming at that point, I don't think. And Doom was kind of the best we had.
Yeah.
and not much else.
If you remember on my IBM XT, I had like Jimmy Wilwyn White snooker.
Yes, a lot of snooker. I loved it still. Like,
Yeah.
I'd sit there for hours playing that snooker game.
But I think that was the as well with the. Might not remember but the early internet was dial up, so it was
Yes.
a little modem, and you'd fucking dial it up and bulletin boards. So I was quite into that side of it as well.
Yeah, I remember you trying to teach me about them. Is like the boards with all people coming together and talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And sharing. You can find
Sharing
people who
stuff,
share
yeah.
your ideas and,
Yeah.
and are on the same wavelength.
And porn pics and all the.
GIF porn was a very big.
Be
thing.
honest, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it was
because
that, yeah.
downloading it was not easy. I remember you had started to get
Time
some-
consuming.
Yeah, you had started to get something. You'd show me it'd be like 8-bit, like just
Yeah.
blocks, but you could kind of make out it was a blowjob.
Yeah, there's a nipple there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, this is hot. This is some hot stuff going on right now. Getting there with that. But it was the year of the consoles because you had a Mega Drive
Yeah.
long before I was allowed to get one because I think I'd been burned on this Master System thing.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so they were very much against me having another console. I used to play King's Bounty endlessly.
Oh, but hang on. Let's just set this
Oh,
back because
okay.
the first thing when I thought this guy's going to be good on PCs, Michael Jackson Moonwalker.
I did love that game.
You were fucking brilliant at that, dude.
Never finished it.
Dude, there was a point where I give up, and I think Jim was having a go, and he was better than me, but then you came along and you were just there all fucking night, sat in front of the TV.
Well, we used to
and
rent
this it was like Michael, and that little girl had saved me or something. Michael, that was the first one. I thought, oh wow, that's good.
Well, we should probably explain that because it was a big part. Again, this weekend trip to your house continued till I was well into my teens, pretty much.
Huh?
But I think it was the only. I mean, now looking back at it, it was probably a really good system, certainly for my dad, as he got this free time with his wife, obviously, where I'd bugger off for the weekend and do something, and I enjoyed it at the same time. It wasn't like they were shipping me away. I was like, when's he coming?
Oh, yeah.
When are we going? But we used to rent games for them because they were too expensive to buy. We'd have to cycle.
What was the old video shop where you go and?
Well, we'd have to go to a
Blockbusters,
place
was it,
called
something?
Gorton. And was it Gorton? No.
Oh, you
Chorley?
mean Video Jacks?
No, we'd have to get on the bikes. We'd have to cycle several miles up the road at Wilbraham Road.
Oh yeah, that was a Blockbusters.
It was a Blockbuster.
It was a
We'd have to
Blockbusters.
cycle. We'd have this trip, this rolling.
I think
trip.
I think you went once on the bike and hated it.
I do know I'd never biked on a road before and was not a fan.
No.
Not a fan. You two were fine. You two.
Oh
were
yeah.
fine. Yeah, we were fine. I was like, this is so dangerous for me.
Yeah, I think you only went. I don't think we did that again.
But
I know you didn't enjoy that.
I did not enjoy it. No, I did not enjoy it. But I know Jim fell out with me one of the days because I think for 3 weeks on the run, I said we should rent Moonwalker. And Jim was like, I've had fucking enough of this game, man.
Right.
But I think maybe in some way, maybe you can correct this. It was like, well, it's Mike's visit, so he gets to pick, something along those lines. But I know I was dead set on Moonwalker. I remember coming back and Jim just walked out and didn't play it all day, which I was in some way very happy about because I just got it to myself for the entire day. I just sat there playing Moonwalker. I don't think we ever got it again. And I never got to finish it or anything like that. But it was renting games every weekend was a big part of me growing up, to be honest.
Right.
Because it was so exciting for me. Like I think it was $2.50 a game for the weekend. You got it for like one night.
Okay.
So we'd have to get it on the Saturday and take
The
it back
games
on the
I
Sunday.
remember that we rented out were like Desert Strike.
I think you owned Desert Strikes. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
And King's Bounty and all
King's
that.
Bounty. Yeah, well, I think more or less read that cartridge in and out. It was that good.
Yeah. You'd play that.
There was another one. What's it? Wonder Boy Monsterland was another good
Wonder
one.
Boy was amazing.
Ocarina.
Yeah,
and...
proper RPG. Proper RPG. But that was the problem with renting the games is we never really got to get done with doing it, which is what led to me wanting my own one and the revival of going to mum and dad and saying, I really want a Mega Drive. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but we lived in the Newborough at the time. We'd moved pubs.
Yeah.
And
Oh, the
my
Newborough,
dad,
right, okay.
this is how he played it. He had
Not
set-
the Cricketers Arms, then.
No, this is the
Right.
Newborough. He had sent, so you've got to bear in mind now, as the context is they really don't really want me to have a console because they know I'm buried in them all the time.
He didn't know anything about anything, did he? That side.
It was all
Stuff.
so new
New
to
tech,
him as
yeah.
an older man. And he sent me to the shop for something. He was like, go to the shop. Now, he timed this because you must have called ahead to say I'm on my way or something like that. I'll be about there. And as I came back up
Probably
the road,
didn't because we didn't have mobile phones then, mate.
No, but I think you probably said what time I'm coming. I'm coming about
Yeah,
one.
might have done that.
something like that. So I
Yeah,
went
you've
down
already said I don't keep time.
Yeah, you don't keep time.
Right, okay.
But I went down to the shop and I came back up. I had the car park for the pub was, if you remember, if you come up the street, you can see the car park. It kind of exposes itself as you come around the corner. And I saw your car. And I was like, my brother's here. I was like so excited that my brother was there. And as I walked past, you had really terribly covered the Mega Drive box. So he must have got you to go and pick it up or to buy it or whatever. And I remember walking past it and looking in the boot of the car, and you had the Mega Drive boxed up, but put a sheet over it to try and cover it, but so badly that you could just see the Mega Drive box. Or maybe I knew the box inside out because I was so obsessed with getting one that like I'd seen part of the box, I knew what it was. And then going, "This is a Mega Drive!" And my dad's face was like, "Fuck's sake." I remember it so clearly, like how excited I was that this had happened, that is a Mega Drive. And I was like, is it for me? Because I think my birthday was coming or Christmas was coming or something like that.
I think it was your birthday, I think.
I kind of recall you looking at him like, what do you want me to
Might
do?
be. Might not be yours.
Yeah, something like trying to play
probably.
it cool where my dad was like, for fuck's sake. And he'd let me play it for one night and then he took it off me again.
I was gonna say, because he was that old school. He'd like, well, why aren't you doing some maths?
Yes.
Do some fucking sums.
Very good, very hardcore on me academically. Very hardcore. Really lost his temper with me a lot of times. He tried to get me to work out the lottery numbers most likely outcomes. He sat me down in his office and made me go through every lottery that had been played for 2 years to find the most common numbers. Because we couldn't just Google it.
That was just random. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you had the internet, you could
but we didn't have that. So I had to go through every lottery win. He bought all these papers that had all the lotteries in them, circle them, count them up, tally them up, and then come up with the most likely outcome, which would never work in a million years. And he had me doing it all day. And he came in and I was like, Dad, it doesn't work this way. All the numbers are random. And he threw his pen down and he's like, just do the numbers and stop that. So basically he was just trying to get me to do math, and this was all he'd come up with in order to do that. But he'd let me have the Mega Drive for one night, and then he came in and took it out. And he's like, you're not having it now. I think it was a good 3 weeks until I was allowed to have it or something like that. But I do know that was like the beginning of the end, because once I did get it, I was never off it. And I think I lost, I think he was annoyed that I was...
Yeah, I think maybe your mum stepped in there, and I would imagine.
I mean, I was on it all the time. I must have been putting in 10 plus hours a day on that Mega Drive.
I think we all did, didn't we? You know, I was at work coming home and then...
Shit games as well. FIFA.
No, I never played that.
I did. I was god at it. I won the World Cup.
I mean, I love football, but I never played FIFA.
Oh yeah, I played the shit.
We went out playing football, as
exactly.
You know.
Exactly. I played FIFA endlessly. Chuck Rock Racing. It's like shit. I got the shittest game with it. I think I had Mickey Mouse with it. I think I was annoyed at you because the games were crap. It was like Mickey Mouse in Fantasy World or some shit. I was like throwing apples.
RoboCod, was that one?
You had James Pond.
James Pond, yeah.
You had James Pond, but for me,
that was a tough game.
Yeah, I remember like this game sucked, but this is what I had, and so this is what I was playing until Mortal Kombat came around, and I think I played it at your house.
Yeah.
And I was like, I must have this in my life.
Straight away when you said Mortal Kombat, I'm thinking of Andy. Because you and him were like blue and the red guy.
No, I don't think he was there for that. I think this still predates Andy by a little bit, I think. I could be wrong on that. But I know that it might have been Andy. I know they refused to play with me. I got so good at it because I'd never stopped playing it. I got so good at it that I had... The rules they had for me was to sit facing away from the TV and below the TV. So the TV was on like a chest of drawers. I would have to sit with my back against the chest of drawers to play them, and I would still win.
Was this when you were at the pub?
Yes. And they refused to play with me. And I did encounter that problem where nobody would play games with me anymore because I've become such a fucking geek. And that's all your fault. I blame you. But you did bring back the PC. It came back in a big way. And I really wanted to ask you about that because you stuck with the PC because you were doing it for work and stuff.
Yeah, I was.
And the technology got better. PCs, And then you discovered AGP. Well, I think we discovered Command & Conquer, which was a big thing for both of us.
One of the first decent games on the PC that we played. So, yeah, probably is.
I think it is Command & Conquer. I think Command & Conquer is the first one. Like, you have to see this. This thing is awesome. And considering the last game I played there was probably Doom. Or maybe Wolfenstein.
Before, Wolfenstein and all that sort of thing. We did all that, but yeah, Command & Conquer was something else, wasn't it?
Because we had CD-ROMs now, so we actually had cutscenes and things like that going on with it. And I think maybe Windows was out. maybe? Because I know we used to
Probably Windows 3.1, maybe
Yeah.
at the time.
something like that. And Command & Conquer came out, and it really...
I'm not sure because I did all the DOS as well. So you had like DOS 3.2, DOS 4, DOS 6, DR DOS, all sorts, and then it was Windows.
I mean, how exciting there was that time for you when we were doing that stuff? Like, because what we then changed is the Saturday
Well,
weekends.
it was great because you're young and you're like a sponge, so you're just learning everything.
But you also had some money to throw at it as well. Because what we used to do was go to bowlers near enough every Saturday.
Yeah, well, I built a lot of PCs for people at the time as well, so there was money in it then as well.
Yeah.
So if somebody bought a PC, I'd say, right, well, if you go there and buy like shite, but if you let me put your parts together and throw you something, you'd always find there'd be a couple of spares left. And
There's a little stick of memory lying around.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Well, it's like the CD-ROM era was big for us both. And going to bowlers was like one of the most exciting trips I'd ever go on. Is going around there looking at the graphics cards. CD writers, I think, were just about coming out.
Yeah, they would new. Yeah.
And I was there the day you bought your first CD writer, and we went back to writing porno for people because porn was really hard to get. And
I'd never burnt porn for anybody.
No, okay.
Bollocks to that. No way.
Okay.
Your memory.
I mean, I will tell you after this, being in the house when that's happened, while having his wife sat downstairs with a tin of biscuits while you two did that upstairs. I don't know whether that rings your bell, but I can tell you I definitely had that. But we had CD writers. You definitely burnt a porn disc for me. 100%.
Does not sound like me. But
yeah, okay. Mr. Innocent over here, and he's on a microphone now. No. It wasn't me. But definitely did that. But I remember being there, getting the CD writer and stuff like that, and then 3D graphics come out. And what I wanted to ask you about is, we got the Voodoos, the AGP Voodoo cards. And I saw Half-Life and Quake 2, I think, change from the basic non-3D graphics to OpenGL graphics.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, this is the future.
Okay. My memory's not that good at this point on these things, but yeah, that sounds right.
Well, do you remember, and I don't know whether you had a war with my dad about this, because I remember you being so frustrated, is that I'd started to get a PC together. And we had them giant beige cases that had like 8 bays in them that were just completely gross and awful. But more bays, the better.
But dog's bollocks in the day, that.
They did their job, but we'd have like one CD-ROM in it. Like 7 empty bays or whatever. But the AGP graphics cards come out. 3D games were starting to be a thing. And Half-Life was a game now. Like, there's, these games that were immense.
Right. Well, you played Half-Life, but I don't think I really did.
I think this is where I started to become mega nerd into the games. Yeah. I think that was probably the era. So I wanted everything I'd get my hands on to play.
I think if you were playing Half-Life then, I don't know if we were in Necron at the time, I'm not sure.
Well, we'll get to the MMO world. Don't you worry about that. That is on the charts. Don't you worry, guys. The MMOs are coming. But I know it got to the stage where my mum and dad would go on vacation.
Yeah.
I would stay at your place. Yeah. You were working. Jim was working probably, or doing something. And I would literally stay in your house all day while you were at work. And I would just sit and play Half-Life and Doom all day on your PC. And actually be annoyed when you came home, even though I'd been sat there for like 8 or 9 hours. Like the door would go, I was like, fuck's sake, I've got to get off the PC.
Which house were we in then?
That would have been the one on the corner.
Where I had all the front room decked out with PCs and stuff.
It would have been the one before that.
Oh, that was Little Hulton then. Okay.
Yeah, it would have been Little Hulton. Because you had the little living room that was kind of a longer living room with the kitchen led onto it. So your couch would have been against the front window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hulton, I think.
Yeah. So I would have sat up there just playing Half-Life for like 9 hours straight. And then the door, I would remember hearing the door go. And I still remember being physically annoyed that you come home. Because you're home now and it's your PC. So you'd be like, get off. Like, no, can't let this happen. But I wanted my own 3D graphics card. Right. So I convinced my dad to buy me a Voodoo graphics card.
And I got you the PC?
You got me the PC. So the job had fallen to you as PC guy, family PC guy, to sort this out. The card never worked. And I don't know if you remember this, is that we ended up going back to the store something like 8 times, changing the graphics card because it was glitched as fuck. And it was definitely a problem on our side, but I'm pretty sure my dad had paid for it and you supplied it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working, so I was really upset, and I was a kid. So I was like, it's not working. It's broken. It kept glitching out all the time. It's like, there's no way you could play it. And going, it's still not right. It's still not right. And I'm pretty sure my dad would probably be on the phone to you, like, you need to sort this. And I remember when we nearly got to the end of this happening, you being so angry that you were back at the shop again for like the 6th or 7th time. swapped the fucking card. And then we ended up getting a brand new one. Because we'd swapped it so many times at the shop. We actually got, I think, a Voodoo 2.
Which shop was it? It wasn't Scan then, was it?
No, it was not Scan. It looked like an old bank. In my memory, it looks like an old bank with a lot of random signs outside it. But it was a big place. But it was definitely in a very old building.
Right.
With almost like pillars and things outside it. Is what happened there. But where we're leading to then is probably where you just mentioned. Is the rise of the MMO. At this point, you'd moved house again, and pretty much everybody in our family now, at least at our age, and your daughters, all played games. And you're a single man, you're a bachelor man. So instead of a living room, what did you build?
We had the fucking ultimate setup, dude, at the time.
It was so ridiculous.
Every kid had their own PC, their own chair. We had benching wall to wall all round. TV was somewhere. But I mean, we hardly fucking watched that anyway, then.
I think
so yeah, we had everything, and we'd like do no cooking, Chinese. Get the Chinese. Get
it was
cheeky
ridiculous
ordered.
bachelor pad.
Get the cheeky order.
So no living room in this house, just benching on every edge of the room, clear space in the middle, and then just PCs on every bench.
PCs, computer chairs, proper setup.
Oh, it was a ridiculous bachelor pad.
Excellent.
It was crazy. I remember your back room
nice
just had
house
like an ironing board set up, and that was it.
That
was it. That's all it had. And the game Neocron had come about.
Yeah.
And
a couple of guys from Salford College got me into that. Big guy, Big Paul. Remember Paul?
Paul Byrne.
And Carbonated.
I don't remember him.
He is now a fucking councillor in Burnley. Or was, or is, I think. Anyway, local councillor. You don't remember him? Another Paul, ginger hair. Big tall lad.
Oh, no, I'm thinking.
You might not, mate.
No, maybe.
Yeah, he was a sound guy. Yeah, so they got me into Neocron.
Well, it was a weird thing for me. This is how I remember it. You guys all got into it and just took to it like ducks to water.
Yeah,
and pretty much
fucking awesome.
So to picture it, I would come to the house at the weekend. There was you, your son, who we called Jim, and your two daughters. Yeah. I walk in. You're all playing this brand new game. I'm looking forward to smashing some Half-Life 2 or maybe Half-Life 1 still.
Something shite, yeah.
Something single player and really into it. I walk into the room, you're all playing this game that looked, to me, like looking over your shoulder, looked like absolute shit. And I remember looking at it, I was like, what's this game we're playing? And it's like, it's called Neocron. And nobody would talk to me because everyone was so zombied into the game.
Yep.
And of course, now it was an MMO, there's no pause or anything like that. They were doing caves, they were leveling, they were grinding, right? Yeah. So I was like, it's Neocron. I was like, what's it about? War. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like playing an APU, PPU. And I was lost at that point. So I definitely felt like, the fuck is this? Like, what's going on? Why aren't we playing something else? You know what I mean? Why are we doing that? And then it got worse for me, and I'll tell you this moment as it stands out to me, because you might remember this. I came for another weekend, and I didn't try Neocron. I thought it looked like arse. I went and played something else. I came out the next weekend. Everyone's sat at their PC, and nobody's doing anything. Or like this. You're on the phone. And I'm like, the fuck is going on? So I'm trying to get it out of your gym. I'm like, what is happening? It's like, they're talking about how to build the clan. We're going to make our own clan. And it was like the Illuminati meeting. There was phone calls going on back. Nobody was playing the game. They're all sat like waiting, like looking at their characters, all waiting with bated breath to what comes out of this mysterious meeting because it was so serious at the time.
We did make a clan, but it wasn't I don't remember it being a big deal, but it might have appeared like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think I think for you guys, you're like, who's going to be in charge, who's doing what, and all this stuff. I remember everyone, like the kids, certainly.
Do you remember the name? I think I actually do.
I want to say, I don't think it would have been Immunity or Phased.
No. Well, if that was not me who made those names up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But it obviously relates to you. But
do you remember it? Tech Crew it was.
Tech Crew. Because you're techies at college.
Nerds. I know, yeah, exactly that. Tech Crew.
You want to join Tech Crew? Not really.
See, I wanted White Sox Nerds.
Yeah?
Because we fucking wore White Sox. White Sox Nerds. No, never got there.
No.
Tech Crew.
But it was like it did feel like the Grand Inquisition meeting. Like, I remember it all going on, because we didn't really have voice comms too much then, I don't think. Because I know a lot of phone calls were happening about it.
It was oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very weird time. And then, like, the decision was made. I think you came out of the...
It was definitely voice comms then, by the way.
Yeah, it probably was.
Probably early TeamSpeak.
But I remember you coming out of, like, the kitchen area, because it was near a laundry room, if I remember right. Your kitchen and laundry room was kind of near each other. And you come out there, we're doing it. And, like, and everyone went, yes. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. This game looks like shit. Like, why is everyone taking it so seriously? And then that was it. Then everyone just knuckled down for the entire evening.
Did you have a PC then as well at your house?
I honestly do not know, but I think I did. I don't think I had internet. In fact, no, okay. I did not have internet. And I'll tell you why I know that in a second. I did not have internet because that was a very, very touchy subject with my father, was internet. Because
another
it's full of
fucking bill to
pedophiles.
pay.
Yeah, and it went through your phone line, and that meant...
Probably want any paedophiles on it then.
I don't know what the fuck it was, but I did not have internet, so that was a big bonus, is that you guys have internet. Now, here's the thing that really annoys me about this tale. I then tried Neocron at your place.
Right.
And loved it. I fell in love as well. I was like, okay, I see what this is about now. Eventually, I cracked and tried it. I fell in love with it, but I could only play at your house because I didn't have internet. So I would
that'd be a nightmare.
Oh no, that'd
be a nightmare.
I'd have to come back and play it every weekend.
That's like starting making a WoW char, isn't it? You know,
I'd have to leave it 5 days, then come back, play again, leave 5 days, and by then you guys have got tanks, you've got all sorts, you know, helicopters, the fucking works. Yeah. Guilds growing and becoming a thing. And it got to the point where Andy is on the scene now, so I got Andy into Neocron as well. And I would have to, if I couldn't come to your place, what we would then do is I would take my PC and my dad's car to Andy's house, and we would connect to, he had internet.
All right.
So that's how I got to play Neocron at the weekends, if I wasn't at your place, was to sit in a laundry room style room, like a box room, with 2 PCs, me and Andy, all day. But the advantage was no one ever bothered us. We would just stay there. And I had my own PC, because I don't think I had my own PC at your place.
Who paid for your account? Because you had to pay for Neocron. The account. Was that Mum?
It would have been my mum or dad.
I don't think my dad was going to pay for that.
To be fair, actually, he was okay with stuff like that. If I justify it, yeah, I think it was probably my dad who paid for it. I might have paid for it myself though, maybe because I got like money for going to college, like £10 a week. I might have paid something. I might have paid it myself, to be honest with you. But that was it. And then I was so into it. I was balls deep in Neocron, loving it every second of the way. I then come to your house again. Nobody's playing Neocron anymore. Everyone's playing fucking World of Warcraft, and you've all got like beta access and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on now? And this was like the second time this had happened to me. Is I'd walked into basically the mecca of gaming, and everyone's changed game. Literally everyone in the room is playing a totally different game. And I'm like, what is this now? And I saw fairies and fucking lights and twinkly elves and shit. I was like, gay. Why are you all playing this gay game? And now we're into Neocron, which has got mega rifles and... You
stayed in Neocron for quite a while.
I did not transfer to World of Warcraft, and during the beta,
but it's still early. It's still really early.
Oh, this is really, really early. Yeah. This is like very like pre-launch. I think because we tried to scam some American accounts and all sorts of stuff to get to play. But what happened is, I stuck with Neocron because I was balls deep into it. I'd found a clan because the story of our lives is we'd never really been on the same clan or guild. Like briefly for periods here and there.
Yeah, very briefly.
We have very different objectives in the games, always.
Not really, but certainly as we get to the WoW, then the gap appears.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean,
there's a big gap that's going to appear soon.
It's unquestionably a big gap that happens. So you were all playing fairy nonsense.
We were playing WoW,
We were playing WoW. I go back, and the problem I started running into is all my friends were also getting beta access. And one by one was starting to leave Neocron. And they were sat on our comms, because our clan comms, playing World of Warcraft. And I go into these guys who I'd love to go PvP with, because Neocron is a very PvP-centric game. And they were like, ooh, Dionysus, I found a big tree, or I found this orb, this is cool. And I was like, God, you guys sound like such losers. While playing this thing. And ultimately, I had spare keys and tried it. And fell in love. And I think this takes us to probably a really interesting point where you might remember is once the game came out, you were Alliance on Alakir server. And I don't know where we should mention
joined,
names here.
But not for long. Because you couldn't get anywhere with us.
I could not get anywhere with
you. Couldn't. I mean, but you've talked about this, and you have held your hands up and says, "I understand why that happened now."
I do.
But at the time, I know you was pissed. But I couldn't do anything about it.
Nope, you couldn't do anything about it. So, for context, you were in a guild called I think the first name was Immunity.
Yeah, Phased or.
I was so strange. I always get mixed up. I ended up playing with these guys like 5 years later. So people like Bicky,
Yeah.
I ended up with a guild with Bicky in Cataclysm.
All right.
Because Alakir server is kind of known, and certainly in the EU, as the biggest PvP server. Like Alakir,
Yeah, it was back in the day. Yeah, you had fucking the Paladin.
Zalgradis was from
Zalgradis
there. Grim
and
was from
Statue
there.
of the Gods
Yeah,
and
Statue
and
of the
Oz.
Gods,
Yeah.
Darkstorm.
Yeah.
These guilds, which were notorious throughout the EU realms, and certainly when PG farming was in, because they would just camp every graveyard and they would never lose. They had some of the best PvPers in the world there. And they were all walking around as very
Field
busy
Marshal,
server.
dude. Come on.
You were very into PvP at that point. And I joined somewhat later, obviously. Like, I tried the beta and then I went back to Neocron. And then I rejoined WoW because you guys were like, this game's amazing. You need to play. And I made a little dwarf warrior.
You did.
And you got me into the guild. And I was...
Straight away, you were like level 5 and wanted to come to MC or something. I fucking know you. It was crazy. I couldn't help you. And you were pissed.
I was the guy who expected to be carried. But to be fair, I also...
You have said this.
Yeah, I was everybody's worst person to play with in modern WoW, for sure. Because I expected everything to be given to me. And if you didn't, I just thought you were being assholes. I thought you were being elitist, you were being smug. All the things we hear about in the forums today, I was that guy. And in fairness, I came from Neocron, where you would kit out a character. Everybody would kit out a friend's character for them. Gems,
you could help them.
You could help them so easily.
But you could also kill somebody and take all theirs.
Exactly. Resources were more
could take
abundant.
the fucking
There
gear off
weren't
of
Onyxia chain quests involved, or building a fire resistance set or anything. It was like, here's some good chips to put in your head. Here's some good weapons. I think you just someone gave me like a 5-slot holy light or something.
Oh yeah, I had a top constructor.
Yeah, exactly. You were like, here's all the end game gear. You're done. Yeah. And that was how Neocron works. You would literally make a character, cap it. Who's got what? All right, we'll sort you out. Fine. Because we would kill people and take their gear. That's how it would happen. You didn't have to go farming, really. Like, some people like farming, but the other way of doing it was literally to gank people and take their stuff. Yeah. So there was a lot of resources. We had rooms full of end game gear just lying around.
I remember an app that you and Andy had in Tech Haven, and it was full of fucking head implants that you'd got bugged. It was
slightly wrong. It was to give context to this. There was an epic quest each faction got.
Yeah.
And one of them was the Kran sect, which was the preachers and casters of the game.
Yeah.
And that was the Church of Kran, was what it was called. And their epic quest gave you the Kran glove, which was...
Gloves, yes. It was the Kran. There was fucking caps full of them.
The Kran glove gave you a bonus you couldn't find on any other glove. So you needed to wear a glove to cast spells. It was a special spellcasting glove that had some bonus on it.
Oh, it had big bonuses on, plus
it
whatever.
Was ridiculous, but it was also bugged in the game for years. Like, you couldn't get one. Like, the quest just didn't work. I don't know if you remember that. The quest never worked.
I always managed to, but you could only do it once.
Yeah, when they fixed it. So there was a big patch note that Reactor did. That's like, we have fixed the Kran glove quest, finally. And it had taken 2 years to do this. So we were like, oh shit. So me and Andy both had monks. So we were at his house in the box room, and we're like, this is how scared we were of this. So we were like, we'll go and do the quest.
Yeah, because he would get banned if you were...
Well, this is how it gets even worse for this.
Yeah. Talk about WoW and all these fucking bans.
Oh, fucking nothing. So we did the Quan Legendary Epic Quest together. And then we got to the end of the quest, and for some reason, when we clicked the final quest turn-in, which gives you the reward, the guy just stood there and still had the option. So we checked our inventories. We have a Crown Glove. Click it again. Congratulations, give me another Crown Glove. But it also, and this was the real problematic part, it gave you 2,000 credits, right? The money in the game.
Yeah.
In that game, you could check by just a menu. Any player could do it instantly. Who were the wealthiest people in the game? It kept a live tracker.
I can remember that, something like that.
Yeah, it had a literal leaderboard. You could see how much money people had. No one was near the money cap. People were high, but no one near the money cap. So we're like, hang on a minute, what the fuck do we do here? So we're kids, so we just start spamming this fucking button endlessly. It's like inventories were completely full of these Crown Gloves, because you could sell them. They weren't bind them, equip or anything like that, or bind them pickup. So you could sell them. But at the same time, we're also picking up 2,000 credits at a time. Now, our inventories were full, and we were overweight, because you could get encumbered in that game. Mm-hmm. So now we couldn't move. So both of us are stuck standing in front of the quest guy, full of Crown Gloves. And we're like, how are we going to do this? This is the truth. Is you could throw stuff on that on the floor in that game, and it would
move, pick it up.
So visually, me and Andy were spewing these super rare, once per character items that you had to be capped for and do a massive question for, just spewing loads of them out of our mouths all over the floor, running 5 yards, picking them up and doing it again to try and get
to the GR.
So we could get to the teleporter to go to our apartment. And then we went and did it again. But now we planned ahead so we wouldn't have to be seen throwing crown gloves around, right? So we were very lucky no one came and saw that. And we went back and we did it like 3 or 4 times until you said we had an apartment because you could build your own apartments in that game.
You had a big plan app, the big level 3, I think it was.
It was huge, full of cabinets,
nice.
and every cabinet was
I
full
remember
of these
blue
crown
was
gloves.
blue.
But the problem we didn't realise is as we were going backwards and forwards, it suddenly said you can no longer have any more money. And then we checked, and it just said Preach, gold capped, Ghost, gold capped.
All right.
Millions above anyone else in the game. Like, it was so fucking obvious that we'd scammed or exploited or something. We were like, oh shit, and we went to full panic mode. And what we did is we ran back to the apartment and then we went into the city and we bought so many apartment keys that were like $250,000 each.
Yeah.
So we just went and bought all the most expensive things in the game just to get our names off the board.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we wanted was our names off the board. And then an hour later, they fixed it. And stopped it happening. So they must have picked up that something was happening with the crown gloves. So now they couldn't fix the quest again. We were the only people in the game with crown gloves. Literally, but we had a lot of them. The boldest thing I ever did with that is they had live auctions with the devs. I don't know if you remember this. In Tech Haven, one of the cities, the devs would come in with some rare items and they would auction them off. And players could submit items they wanted to see as part of the auction. So it was a live auction. A dev would sit in a chair and then people would fill in and you could bid on items. So I gave them a crown glove to auction off, and the dev was like, oh wow, we've had something really strange happen. Somebody has submitted a crown glove. And I definitely thought I was going to get banned for that because they were like, you cheating, exploiting motherfucker, because you can't even get these things. You can only get them for like an hour done one day weeks ago, and we know like 1 million of them have been spawned, so motherfuckers. So they were like, ooh, it was sold for loads. I got millions for it again. Really funny. But that was, I never got banned for it. They definitely knew it was me. At that point, I didn't care if they banned my account. I think we were leaving.
I mean, they could have checked, but I don't think they did.
I don't think he cared. Like,
Half the time, I mean, there was a lot of people clipping into hillsides, and
in a big
that was
difference
a
to
spoiler
Blizzard
thing.
handles things. I think they thought it was our fuck up. Like, what do we expect them to do? Not do it?
Can we break for a quick
Sure.
bio?
So, your World of Warcraft guild, when I finally came back and gave in, I came on my own and you invited me to your guild, and I think you said something like, I'll get you in the guild, no problem.
Yeah.
Something like that. But you were already, like, Molten Core.
Yeah, we were raiding and we were...
You were one of the
40
bigger
man.
guilds on the server.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think... so you guys had a lot of respect, like, having that name over my head. From what I can remember. I definitely encountered people like Bicky.
Yeah.
Who I eventually did end up playing with. And I remember like being left completely on my own. Like, I got invited and it was like, you're in the guild now. I was like, does anybody want to do Dead Mines or something like that? No. And I was so bad at this game, but you commanded a lot of respect.
You weren't bad. You wasn't bad. It was just early days.
It was early days. I was a noob in the truest sense of the word. I was new to the game. And I was a little warrior. But you knew all these guys. So how did Immunity come about? Because you'd met them IRL, I think, at like the
Neocron.
Oh, from Neocron?
Yeah.
Because we did go our separate ways in Neocron as well.
We was Men in Green in Neocron, the City Merc squad. And then, because you did tend to travel around a bit, the factions, you remember?
Yep.
You know, all of a sudden you were Twilight Guardian, and then the next minute you were...
wherever the good fighting
Kran
was.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I started with the 2 guys from Salford. They stopped playing, because they had real lives.
Losers.
Sort of. I stayed in playing Neocron, and I think what it was that the guys we were playing with in Neocron liked me better than them too.
Okay.
So they were like, are you staying? So they were like showing me the ropes. But these were a lot of the lads from Reading. So there was quite a little hardcore group there.
Oh, like,
Maybe
so
about
they were IRL
6.
friends as well?
Yeah, they were all real RL friends. Yeah, Bicky's squad. Plummy and a few of the boys, you know. So, and I stayed with them and it just got massive. You know, as in the numbers, like, you know, all of a sudden, like, new games coming out. You know, we're all talking, like, on TeamSpeak, whatever it was at the time. I can't remember the chat. And they says, we're going to go and play WoW. So I'm like, fucking hell, it looks shit. You know,
Were you the same as me when you first saw it?
Yeah, it looks crap. Cows, I'm not going to be in a cow. You know what I mean?
And you did choose a no mage eventually.
Yeah, Becky's fault. Because of the racials. Because obviously straight away we're like trying to min-max.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the poorest min-max. I mean, I shouldn't even say that, but that's what it was back in the day. You'd be like, yeah, because the racials better. Fucking, you know me. I read so much. And no.
But it was
somebody tell me now.
Yeah, it was.
So I was working as well.
I mean, because every week I would come and visit, you had got that next step further. Obviously, you're playing hardcore. It's like, I've got my mount now, and you show me your mount.
Hardcore? How can you say that?
Well, I was only
You've played hardcore.
No, but I was only
You've seen
at the
hardcore.
time, I got to play 2 days a week because I didn't have internet.
It was pretty hardcore for the day, but it's nothing like it is now.
No, nothing. No, I mean, this is when it first started.
Yeah.
Like, it's well early days, and this is WoW's launch. You know what I mean? So for me, you only got to play 2 days, got to play at weekends. I didn't even play the game at that point. Like, I still was playing Neocron at that time. Is I'd come to your house, and I think at the time I was actually like annoyed at coming to your house because they'll all be playing WoW, and I want to play Neocron.
Was he a spare PC?
No, probably not. So it was
Back up Mega Drive on TV.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like play a console.
Actually, no, you'd be on James Bond, the Golden
GoldenEye.
I was
definitely, I was definitely a Nintendo. I was back in the console world at that point, and then playing PC. I wanted to play PC, but I didn't have internet, and everyone was playing internet games. Right. So there was nothing I could do. So it was N64 all week, and then Neocron at weekend. Yeah. Come to your house, you're all playing WoW. But I remember looking at your mage, and you were in. I think you were doing something in Stone Town Mountains or something like that.
All right.
And you were like, "I've just got my mount," and you showed it me. And I was like, "Oh, you get mounts?" And you're like, "Yeah." And you started to your character started to develop. You're like, "I can blink now." I was like, "Blink? Who can't blink?" And then you were like, "No, watch, boom," and then you move, and then you can make your own water and all this. And you started to show me like the mage. And then you were like Arcane Explosion and things like that. I was like, because the first time I'd ever seen you play, you were just casting Frostbolts. Right. I was like, this game looks well shit. I have no fucking clue why anybody would ever play this game. And I started to ask you, and I remember one thing you said to me is like, you could be a shaman, and they're like Jesus, they can walk on water. It was like something you said to me, and I was like, maybe this game is good. You know what I mean? Maybe this is something to get a try. And I got the beta key and started messing around and did fall in love. But then left it because none of my friends wanted to play. They all still wanted to play Neocron. So it was like, I didn't really have a place to go, and eventually dived in with you guys and was that guy. I remember I got to near level cap and wanted to go to Molten Core and stuff. And they were like, you've got to be level 60. I'm like, it's 3 levels. Like, what fucking difference does it make? And they're like, a big difference. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, you don't be an idiot. And one of the saddest moments in my life was Bicky whispered me, because he knew I was your brother.
Yeah.
He goes, we've got loads of spots for Onyxia. You want to come? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you have the key, right? And I was like, where do I go and buy the key? And he's like,
oh, was it a pre-quest, was it?
It's the Onyxia Attunement quest. It's massive.
Yeah.
And I was like, where do I buy the key from? And he just goes, never mind. When you get the key, just hit me up and I'll get you in. So he was trying. They were trying, but people were saying, like, what's your fire resistance at? And I was like, what? Build it for me. It's like, yeah, there's some crafted gear and all that. It's like, so who crafts it for us? Because you expect, like, similar to Neocron, someone will just make it for me and give it me. And nobody was. It's like, you need to do your attunement, you need to do BRD. Does anyone want to go BRD? But these are all, like, raiders. Like, no, I don't want to go to fucking BRD. I'm not fucking interested. I think your Sam actually helped me do it. Yeah, your daughter actually helped me do my BRD attunement quest. And I think she was miserable the whole time. She's like, I've got to run this fucking idiot through Blackrock Depths. And I was a clown, and I was trying to tank stuff, but I was just rending everything and all this shit. And it's like, oh, God, what a pain in the ass. But I did, I gave up. It beat me because I genuinely thought that the guys were assholes. No one had helped me. It was all my fault, as I've said. It was all my bad approach to how I thought about it should be done. And I quit. I remember I think I did some AV because I think you're...
So I don't remember you quitting. I remember you going away. And it was almost like when you came back, God mode was enabled.
It was a weird...
And you knew everything. It's like, what the fuck? How?
I still didn't, which is the weird thing about it, is I gave up with your guys. So I was like, I'm never getting anywhere with these guys. I think I quit the guild and was like, someone in for me, and everyone was like, no. Because I just thought it was them guys being dicks. So I was like, I'm going to leave this guild because they're full of dicks and go somewhere else. And then it just turned out, no, it's just me. I didn't know it at the time. It was just my lack of information and knowledge. I was just I was a waste of time and a leech wherever I went. So nobody would take me. So I was like, fuck this. And everyone was, and then suddenly, like it does, there was a resurgence in Neocron from all our friends. So I was like, I'm going to go back to Neocron. I'm comfortable, I'm safe, I know what I'm doing, I'm happy there. I went back to Neocron, and I think I was only there for about 3 months before they were talking about World of Warcraft again. Because Neocron was dead. Everybody had gone to WoW. Yeah. The game was fucking dead. And I came back, but this time I'm going to be Horde, because you guys were Alliance, obviously. On the same server, I think. No, different server. I even went to a different realm. I went to Balnazar, I think it was. And we're still shit. We're still really bad. But
is Andy with you now as well, is he?
No, he's not. Me and Andy never played together in Classic, like our original vanilla. He was on your server because you gave Andy his WoW account. Do you remember?
I did.
You gave Andy his first WoW account.
Yeah.
I remember being at your house and you were like, you can have this account because it had a level 60 paladin on it.
Yeah, I had a paladin on, didn't it? Saxon.
So this is how dumb this move was because of how bad me and Andy both were. You
Did he delete it?
He deleted the level 60 paladin.
Love that guy.
A paladin. And then he wanted to get gold, and you were like, you had a level 60 paladin, you can make all the gold in the world. What the fuck? How did you end up with an extra account with a paladin on it then?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know you had it, and you're like, no one plays this account. It might have been Jim's old one or something, I don't know. It was a dwarf paladin, I remember that. And you were just like, you can have this one. Or you sold it him or something like that. And then I remember he got home.
Give him, I don't know.
The first thing he did was delete that level 60 paladin. He's like, well, what a rogue. Deleted this level 60. And then you found out, you're like, Jesus Christ. Why the fuck would you do that? And but he stayed on your server. He stayed on Alakir and raided with the House of Searing Blades, I think they were called.
I was going to say, I don't think he's...
No, he didn't raid with you guys.
With that group, anyway.
But you guys were the elite in my eyes. But when our guys decided to go from Neocron to WoW again, we did it as a 5-man team. So what I did have the opportunity to do for the first time was learn together.
Yeah.
Because we were all still relatively clueless. So I got that opportunity was to learn together and try and do things. And I was the healer, so I got to watch a lot of what was happening.
Yeah, there's a few of your videos. Now, I think you were definitely recording or capturing stuff now. Because I've noticed you're raiding some of those really early ones. Jim's there. I'm there in a couple of them.
That's in the Burning Crusade.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because we did come back together for the Burning Crusade, which was one of the best times I ever had in WoW. Honestly, it was so cool. So I played through vanilla that way and did learn and got okay at that point. I started to be known on the server as a good priest, but you guys were still over on Alakir on the Alliance side. But the Burning Crusade was coming. And I wanted to be a guild master and get everything in charge. And I was definitely becoming hardcore to the point where it was annoying some people because I was definitely getting more into it than I should have been. Not should have been. It kind of ended well. But I spoke to you guys and I was like, come over. Who can you get?
Sister Balnazar?
Yeah.
Good, because we did have... Yeah, I've still got Chaz on.
Yeah, come over because you played with Nups. Was in that guild.
You know what? I met him at PreachCon. And lovely fella, but I really don't remember very much at all. He was like just telling me what we did, and
he was the major.
I don't know if maybe the old dementia setting in, or just forget that much.
I still have the clip of you spell stealing his buff at Mulgore. And
I remember. Yeah,
freaking the fuck out. Why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, it paid off though.
For you.
Well, it worked.
Well, we rescued it. Let's put it that way. We rescued that scenario. But
I like to think I rescued it then, and. It was right.
Okay. No.
No. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to start arguing with your WoW
we
knowledge.
can watch it back if you want. No. but it was. We got you. We got Jim. We had Sam. And then we had Jenny for a period of time. We had Jenny's boyfriend.
Hartigan.
His 2 friends.
Which one? Hartigan?
Tom Bonds. Tom.
Tom. Yeah.
Tom. His 2 IRL friends, Jordan and something else. I think they were called.
All right. Okay.
So we had like 7 of the family. Including myself and Andy. He came over from Alliance and joined Horde because Horde got Paladins. So he always wanted to be a Paladin. Horde got Paladins, so it was like Andy's coming over as well. And we had a raid team which like 50% of that 25-man roster was IRL friends. And the other 50% were all people we knew from Neocron. So Genji, friends of mine like RH, and Nups, who I knew from WoW. All these players all came together. And we had a really solid, close-knit team. And it was amazing. We did really well for the time, considering the...
I don't remember why we didn't stay together. What happened there?
We managed to keep it...
Or did I go back with Becky and...
Yeah, I think ultimately, I was really, really pushing everybody. And your interest always definitely lied as well as a mix of PvP and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the same with Jim, and wanted to do other things. And I was all PvE focused, and like trying hard, pushing hard, blah, 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 blah. So I definitely think I was... This is where the gap started to grow in terms of what intentions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest gap I realised was when you were at Kill Count Lost.
Yeah, ultimately, like most of you guys left. I don't think that by the time we got to like High Jarl and Black Temple, because you are there and Jim's there in.
Didn't really do Hyjal. I don't know why. Maybe
no, you didn't.
I think we left the game. We were playing Star Wars Galaxies for a bit.
I'd love to talk about that because that's when I didn't follow. I was like, no.
Yeah. I think that's when the gap...
In the kill video of Kael'thas, Sunstrider, which is a bit before we go to High Jarl, Jim's in the raid.
Yeah.
Jim is there. You're not.
No.
A few others are. I don't think Sam's there either, but Jim was still there for sure. Because I see he's in the video. But after that, everyone kind of was done. Because I think at that point, it was like the new tiers here. Everything was out, remember, in the Burning Crusade. It wasn't a case of we would clear content and then there'd be like a gap like there is now.
Yeah.
Like 4 months. It was all waiting for you. So as soon as one thing was finished, we were straight into the next thing. And by then, I was still pushing and so hungry for progress. I was like, right, we're raiding High Jarl now. We're doing Black Temple. And I think at that point, everyone was like, fuck off, man. I've had enough. You know what I mean? I want to do some other shit. And it was probably coinciding around the time Star Wars Galaxies came around. And it was a similar situation.
I'm not sure of the chronology on those
it's hard, isn't it? And this is where people get angry when I do these kind of tales. Because like, well, actually, it was September, not October. But
what was that other MMO that came out?
Age of Conan?
No, we didn't stand around in that long. The other one, fucking hell. Still out now. Pays you.
What, Terra? Terra's relatively new compared to when we're talking. We're talking Burning Crusade.
I don't have to have a look after.
There
was another one out as well.
But I had that third time ever. I came to your house, you were all playing a different game. And I remember at that point, I think I was the
What was that, Star Wars Galaxy?
Yes. And as I was like Guild Master and stuff, I remember being annoyed. Game. I never got the appeal of what that game. But you guys were in love with that game. But basically, you were AFK dancing in a bar, not even playing the game.
Sam. That was Sam. So you used to be dancing in an inn, and you would give everybody buffs that came in. And she was like the buff master. You could do that. I think Jenny was cutting hair in the hairdressers, and she was buffing them with a different buff. Yeah.
I just remember coming in and thinking, this you guys.
Me and Jim were on the way to being Jedis as well.
Well, this is true because I never played Galaxies. I was definitely like sold on WoW completely. It wasn't like I would go with the flow. But it was like only certain people could be a Jedi. It was such
you had to master all the traits, the different skills like Terakasi Master and fucking shooting guns. So you had to sort of give up a thing and then go and learn another. And then towards the end, as there was like about 10 or 12, I'm not sure exactly, but it's like I just remember about 10 or something like that. Things that you had to do, and then it'd start saying, "You hear Jedi whispering," like. There's nobody there.
Everybody could get that, right? Like,
mystical sort of thing,
Was it not pure RNG as to whether or not your character was even capable of being a Jedi? Some people could learn everything, right, and still not be a Jedi.
No.
Is that not true?
No, you definitely did get there after a bit,
everybody
but it wasn't
could be
like...
a Jedi.
No, well, if you learned everything by then, you would have been getting told that you need to go here. You're getting an urge to go to this place where the Jedi... sort of training camp is, but you had to do a lot of things first before you even got this like thing. A little whisper would appear, and you'd be like, "Fucking hell, we'd only just got it. I'd got it, and then Jim got it like a day later or something." And then Star Wars Galaxies, they fucking mashed it up, didn't they?
Yeah, they nuked it.
They made it all dumbed down for the kids.
Yeah,
fucking wrecked it.
Well, we're seeing similar things in WoW.
So we were back in. Yes, well, yeah. Well, I don't know.
See,
I have a different opinion on that.
Okay, that's interesting. Maybe we can get there.
Yeah. Because you always talk about my play style and...
It does amaze me that you still can't keybind.
No, some of them are keybound.
Yes, some, but we are talking 10
But
years
I can't do
progress.
shift key. I can't just do it.
Because you've tried everything. You've had a Naga mouse, I think, for a
Still
while.
got Nagas.
Yeah.
But I can only hit the top 3 buttons real. In fact, even then, I sometimes hit 2 buttons at once.
Mm. But it's never been able to like keybind everything
No.
the character does or anything like that.
No.
It's very strange because obviously I try to teach people how to do it, and then it's like, what is it I can do to make that work? Because it makes things so much better.
I know. I swear half them videos you did just to try and help me. That's the way it seems.
It helps me in a way because I go there and I watch it. I'm like, right, what else could I suggest that would help this out? Because I'll sit and watch you play, and then sometimes you'll like click stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, my internal tingles are going like,
fucking annoying.
Stop it, just stop doing it. It's a really hard experience because I'm actually better at it now, but we've been to many events.
Yeah, if you look at our Jim's style of play though, because he's left-handed as well, he's not WASD.
Oh,
right? He's up and down, left and right, and using the numpad keys.
Yeah, that's what Andy does. It's the exact same thing. It's really strange for me to watch, but it's always been something I've taken notes from you playing. Like, what would I say to you now to try and make that better?
Yeah.
So we can improve that in some way, and it's definitely been a thing because it's like, and it also something I accept. It's like some people just aren't going to do it.
No.
Which is not easy for me. Like when I first started doing guides and things, I was like, everybody can do this, right? And then you ultimately say, it's like, no, not everybody can do this.
I can't hold the shift key down and press a 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some people just can't do it. So and then you've got to be okay with that. Like some people can't do it, but they could do like you do. You do quite a few.
Yeah.
Not everything.
No, not everything.
Which is going there. So you came back to Alba again, different faction, different stuff. I was off on my own journey then, and I joined Kill Count Lost.
Yeah.
Which is when I got really hardcore into the game.
Yeah.
Like that.
You was good then. There was a massive gap then at that point.
Yeah, I mean that was nearly my prime. Like I definitely had my prime. That was building into like when I was faultless. I would go weeks without making any error in the game.
Were you working then? No, you weren't streaming.
I was working. Yeah, I was working. I was working full time, and I was
driving
racing home.
Car place.
Yeah, kind of. It was just before that. I was still office based, but
or the pub. The bar.
I was working at the pub at the time. Yeah, so I was keeping like a relatively good social life. I always managed to maintain that pretty well. I still had girls and friends and things like that, but still played super hardcore in World of Warcraft whenever I had the opportunity. Certainly when it came to raiding, I was like so balls deep into it and nerding out. But I also met people who were also mega nerds, which I hadn't encountered in WoW at that point.
Yeah, there's a few. I always considered you as like a mega nerd, but when I watched the Race to Will first, not the Vegas thing, the proper one before that, and the first time we'd seen Methods guy, first time I'd seen him, their raid leader.
Oh, Scribe,
fucking hell.
What, when you look at his UI, you just know?
Well, no, just what you were saying, and the guys were saying, this guy's in a different fucking planet.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's...
Macros, and...
Yeah, when you're talking with these guys normally, especially when you can be part of the conversation, because I'm not there anymore. Like, I'm fully aware of that, and my audience knows that as well. I'm not as invested anymore, for a number of reasons as to why that is. Certainly, I do.
It's so hardcore, though, isn't it? Now
it's very hardcore right now, but not very rewarding, which is what puts me off.
Yeah.
Certainly in terms of like damage dealing, it's a lot of RNG. It's there's a lot of stuff that you just can't control, and therefore you lose your will to try when it's not down to you and all that stuff. But going on from there, we never really came together, I don't think, ever in WoW. We're kind of back together now in Classic.
So enjoyed it the other day.
That was fun, right? What, Zul'Farrak?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I said, you know what, guys, we're just going to see if our mics... Because somehow, we're on the same server. That we did not know.
Oh, really? Was that purely by
chance? No, Steph Untrill, he picked Shazra. So we'd all created our characters weeks ago before it all came out on the server, ready to go. And he decided odd, because we all wanted to go Alliance, but he went, no, we're going odd. Okay. So that was it. So it was Untrill.
Well, I didn't know, because Classic's been...
And then you've been to Vegas, so you've not even been playing Classic.
No.
Where we have, or I have, because obviously I'm working full-time and coming home doing a bit, and we've had, like family stuff going on, getting in the way of things as it does. Mm-hmm. But I managed to get to 50 odd, and I was watching you stream, and you're on. Like, it's the same server, same everything. Come and do Zul'Farrak.
Tank for me.
And you went, yes.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm like, fucking hell, here we go.
Yeah, it was good fun. That's the whole point, right? I mean, that's why I'm on playing Classic. It's not for the raids or anything like that. Yeah. I'm not going to be finding the glory.
Well, a few of the guys that were in that group are in our guild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was. I'm trying to think who
was the Rogue was. I can't remember his name, though.
Was it Cypher?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So that guy actually worked with in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he don't work where I work, but I get him in to come and help me like do switches, do the computer switches and everything like that. So yeah, he's good. Well, he's good lad.
Yeah. But I know you've got some questions for me, but the last one is I think we're just going WoW related just for a second. A few times because you've left and come back several times now.
Yeah.
Often to go and play Rust and PUBG a bit and a lot of PvP stuff.
Yeah.
But every time you come back, I guess it's more of a WoW question than a brother question. You often said to me, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore because there's just too much shit in front of me.
Too much to do.
And has that been the thing that's kind of driven you away?
Well, classic. I like classic. Less buttons. So it's easier to play. I think that this, the less buttons, the better for me. I only need 2 or 3 buttons. I'm happy. Yeah. I can even PvP then. Where in the later games, when you had all your shift keys and like you were doing, and in retail, too many fucking buttons, man.
And too fast paced, would you say? Just too much going on all the time?
Oh, not that. Too much to do. Like you say, the Pathfinder, that's a fucking grind. Once you've got that done, I'm fucked by then.
I mean, I did a video on that yesterday, and
big feedback. Some of it.
Yeah, the feedback on that is like people who love Pathfinder, and that's what they're using. It's like, I love Pathfinder. I'm just like,
I'd rather not have mounts.
I just don't fucking get it. I'm like, I don't know what you can love about a reputation grind that's mandatory. I don't know what's to love there.
There's nothing better than killing somebody on the way to somewhere. Or you just know there's like 4 or 5 of it, and you're mounted up and you're running down a road. And then some poor bastard comes round that corner and he's thinking, oh, fuck me. All of a sudden our warrior's boom, gone. I've sheeped him off his mount, probably. You know what I mean? It's like end of.
Well, we said that we did Jinth Lord together a few days ago.
That was a great
I even pointed out on the stream, it's like, this is so fun. It was just 5 of us riding across the hinterlands, all off to do some sort of little adventure together. Nice, simple, basic. It's just a kill.
Well, don't you remember that rogue sneaking in, half sheeped him?
Yeah.
And you like, whoa.
He was right next.
Like Stream Sniper or something, I think.
I think he was trying to snipe me and you fucking busted him right out of it.
I was like, I'll just sheep him, keep him there. We'll kill you in a minute, don't worry. We'll get to you.
You just wait your turn. We're in the middle of something right now. But that is what has been brought us back to Classic and that. But I think because we're doing interviews, say when Andy did leave, it was you who were called.
Yeah.
Because typically it would have been my dad. And I remember when I even spoke to you, I think, before we officially brought Andy in, although he's been here forever, like as a business thing.
Yeah.
And I think I often say it probably more than you do, is like, what would Dad do? And because I would turn to Dad for this kind of advice with his ancient wisdom that he carried, and he would have said, don't do it. Because friends and business don't often do that.
Oh, right, yeah. He definitely would have said that.
Yeah, he would have told me not to do that.
Yeah, originally start what you started.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have done that. But I also, I think it went well, but it was you a call at the time. It was like, well, you got to, what would Dad do? Move on, crack on, get going, Things happen that way. So I do want to thank you for that, because that was a very bad day, obviously, for me.
Yeah.
It's, dealing with
bad
that.
Day for us at all. I mean, we love Andy, and I haven't got a bad word to say about Andy. It's it
was a bad scenario all around that went out there. But it was nice having someone who could call, who would probably tell me it straight, because most people don't.
You make good decisions, bro.
I'd like to think so. You
make bad decisions.
It's gotten harder. Certainly, you know what it is, and this sounds really ego, I know, but doing this job, and people often try and get involved in some way, is they often don't tell you it straight. Like it's a problem I have sometimes when we go and do these events. Is everyone treats you really nicely.
Yeah, I've thought about that, because you don't want to hear about how good it was.
No, I don't like that.
Well, sometimes you're not bad,
which is fine.
There's nothing to say.
But there's always ways to improve. That's how I look at it. You've always, unless, because you don't want to get lazy and get complacent.
And you also don't want the ego monster riding us. And I remember our dad saying that is a fault we all have as lambs. Fucking, we think we're better than everybody else sometimes.
Yeah, you got to keep it grounded. You really do.
You got to try.
Yeah, and it's, again, like you said, sometimes there's nothing to improve. It's like, so where do I go from there? Am I done? You know what I mean? Like, how do I... that's something I can't have in my head. Is like, well, I just do what I do, and that's the best it's ever going to be, and that's kind of not something I want.
Well, I don't know. I mean, look what you started now. You're like they're getting you in for all the commentating and everything.
Yeah, I've done really well.
Some of them are good. I like Bay. I like JB. Love JB. I think you and him work really well together. Rich Campbell. I don't know.
I miss
Rich. I like Rich.
I don't. It's not something I can
Daft
really
as a
go
brush,
into.
but I like him.
He's great. I've never had to work with him. Or never gotten to work with him.
No, I think that's a shame. I think
it is a shame. Yeah, I think it's because both of what we think, because we spoke about it. Me and Rich talk relatively regularly. Is we just think it's.
Are we going to see these guys at BlizzCon, by the way?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's usually a case of when you're doing pairings for commentary. At least this is what I found out of the. I've only done it 3 times. But generally, if they find a really good pairing, me and Bay, me and JB, and so on and so forth, is the producers will come out and say, right, we're going to make sure you two are together forever.
You're dead harsh with Bay sometimes.
Well, Bay's harsh with me.
No, he isn't. Bay's not harsh with anybody. He's such a nice guy. I'm like, fucking, I like him. Go easy.
Got to be harsh with everybody.
Because you can see him, he's like that. Fucking hell.
I like dropping.
Like typical.
I like dropping him in it with something really.
See, Andy would have fucking ruined you. Well, at least he would have tried anyway. He would have said, Andy always had some smart comeback.
I think the worst I did to Bay was he said something about his dad, and I think because Dad would have laughed at this, so I went, "Oh, that's nice, Bay, but my dad's dead." And I carried on.
Yeah, that'd be one of those.
I'd be like, "Oh my god," because
he don't know how you're going to be. He might be like, "Yeah, that's harsh."
He just went, "Oh my god!" He had nowhere to go. He was totally knocked off kilter. But I often find if you can knock, certainly anybody who's new to it, like I'm still really new to it, but some people get really nervous about because this is the prospect you get. These you got to sit up there for 4 hours and keep talking. Go. That's really nerve-wracking.
Dude, no idea. I have no idea how you do it.
Exactly. You can just see that some people go, what the fuck? And they're trying to think of the subjects they've got to talk about for 4 hours, right? Like, how are you going to fill 4 hours of airtime?
You'd have to do a bit of study, wouldn't you? You have to write something down. I have to have notes and everything, mate.
Well, obviously, the best way, like we've done here, we've been talking for like an hour and a half, is get a conversation going, and it'll naturally flow where it needs to be.
We go there anyway.
Yeah, so if someone's a bit like, okay, I'm ready, I've got my subjects in mind. There was a guy in Germany who actually tried to come to me before we did our shift. And this is a really funny story. It was in Germany, in Krefeld, and we had a sort of caster area, which had like 5 PCs in it and a load of chairs. So all the casters could go and chill in this back room between shifts and whatever.
I watched quite a few Germany ones.
Yeah, it was really good. It was behind where the camera was.
Was that the Race to Ilfurst, the proper?
That was the Eternal Palace one, not the one I did in London with Red Bull. This was the one I did in Germany.
Yeah.
So we're all chilling in there, and this guy come in and he's like, "I've got a shift with you this afternoon. I'm really looking forward to it." Blah blah. I'm like,
"Who was it?"
Don't matter.
Okay.
But,
all right.
He sat down with and he pulled a notepad out. So I was like doing my dailies on WoW and chatting with the lads. I had like Trekkie and that sat next to me. I was just chilling. We're all shooting the shit. They've got pizza going. This guy comes and says, "Can I have 20 minutes of your time?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." He sits next to me. He pulls out his notepad and I went, "What is that?" And he goes, and all the other lads are like, "Oh no, he's gonna ruin him." And he's like, "Oh well, I've gone through a load of subjects I'd like to bring up with you, so I want to just word you in and get a pair." Like I just said, "Look, I'm not being rude or anything like that. And please don't take this rude way. I don't work like that. Like I want to hear it when we're out there, so it's natural. What I don't want to be doing is going and sitting on that couch already preparing answers to something that might not even happen, because that's what often happens when people make notes. Is we'll get into a conversation about something and then you don't talk about it. So I don't want that to be in my head. I said, drop it on me when I'm out there. That's totally fine." So he went, "Oh, I've just been doing these for a couple of hours." And I was like, "Fucking hell." I was like, I get
that's all right if he's got something
I get
to
it.
ask
If that helps you, that's totally fine. I was like, that's totally fine that you've got that stuff there. If you think you're running out of steam, I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not saying don't ask me stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I like it to be spontaneous. I like it to be on the spot. And certainly if it's in relation to something that's happening on the screen. So then we'll get a more natural conversation. So he goes, "Oh, okay. So when do we go through like a rehearsal and stuff?" I was like, "What?" No.
Did you not say, "Does any of this look rehearsed?"
I was like, "No, I don't work
None of it does.
So he's like, "All right, so we'll just go up there when it's our time." Like, yeah. We'll just go up there, we'll just have fun. And like you just said with Bay, sometimes it's best, and I did it with him, is immediately after we started, I said something that completely knocked him off kilter.
Yeah, but by then he stopped worrying then.
Yeah, it resets the brain.
Then.
That's what it does. It completely resets the brain. I don't do it to everybody, but I found that if people do look a bit stiff and they're like worried about it, send them for a loop, it resets their head, and they'll come back to it usually with a smile on their face, and then we get a chit-chat going.
Yeah.
And from there, boof, your 4 hours is done, and then the clock spins. But yeah, it's one of those things where you don't think about it too much.
Yeah, I'll tell you what surprises me as well is like the method guys. they're so easily casual on camera. Just sit there. Oh yeah, he's coming over now. You know, some of them boys, they're fucking brilliant. That Warlock, what's his name?
Oh, Fabo, Deep Shades.
Deep Shades, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's nice how they've become friends now. Because
although got to be, and I tell you what, I didn't know, because I didn't know you and Emma were going to do the Vegas thing. I don't even think you probably did.
It wasn't confirmed until like a week before.
And that was do your vows again or something?
Oh yeah. So
yeah, that's what I'm on about. And then all of a sudden, I seen this picture, and all the guys went. And Dejari's there and everything. I thought that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. All the guys went.
The staff were annoyed that we took like most of the crew for the last hour of the show.
Is that what it was?
No, I'll tell you what happened. Right. So it was actually Method Dari, who's amazing. She's their manager. Lovely lady.
Okay.
She's on camera very rarely, but she's the manager. She's there all day. She's sorting things out for the guys, right?
Right.
And for us as well. She's the one who organised everything. So Dari sent me a message because I wasn't going to do Las Vegas because I'd just come back from Germany.
Yeah.
I'd been away for the kids the longest I'd ever been away from them in my entire life.
Yeah.
I'd also come back during PreachCon. So remember, I left Germany, came back, did PreachCon, then went back to Germany.
Yeah, you and Bay.
Yeah, Bay came with me, yeah. So although I was home, I still wasn't with my family because I came back straight into PreachCon. Like, I got off the plane and went straight to the hotel and started meeting people from Germany. And then PreachCon finished, I was on a plane that day back to Germany where I had to finish it off. So I was like, I not only missed my family immensely, more than ever, but I've also lose a lot of money every time I do those events. It costs me a fortune to go and do those.
Yeah,
events.
that's yeah.
It's something you can't ignore it, especially if it's
I wouldn't ignore it. I'm not sure I would do it.
Back to back at this point.
Honest.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was like, okay, we're going to Las Vegas in like 4 weeks. And I was like, I just don't think I could justify going again. Although I want to, of course. Who doesn't want to go to fucking Las Vegas, right? Who doesn't want to go and do that? But I was like, it's just costing me a fortune because not only because we make a huge loss on PreachCon, as you know, so we were like $6,000 down on PreachCon. Like, all said and done, after ticket sales, it cost us an extra $6,000 on top.
Wow.
And then I lost a lot of revenue as well because I was in Germany for so long. So I'm not streaming, YouTube content's down. That's the situation because I'm just not there. I'm not available. I'm doing something else. Now, they do pay us for going to these events, but it doesn't come close to what
doesn't equate.
Yeah, it doesn't equate. So I was like, I really don't think I could do this. Despite the fact that this is a trip to Las Vegas, it's like, thinking to myself, I was like, I really don't think I could do that. Dari's so amazing that she knew that. And she went, look, we really want you to come. I'm aware of... she's got kids as well. So she was like, I understand that you're probably blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if you want, we can sort it so that Emma and the kids can come. And then I was like, motherfucker, because I can't turn that down.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I can't turn that down. So I went upstairs to Emma and she was asleep because I often work well after Emma's gone to bed. So, and obviously they're in US time. So I get contact. I do a lot of work late at night because that's when the Americans are awake. So I go upstairs and I give her a nudge and she was what? I said, read that. So I showed her my Discord, add the message in, and she started squealing. And she was like, oh my God, I'm going to take the kids to Las Vegas, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, that's sold. And then 20 minutes later, she said, we could renew our wedding vows. Like, it was the instant idea she had. So we put it in Discord.
All right, so I didn't know if you'd thought about this when you were there.
No.
Because even me and Sue thought about it when we were in Vegas, a couple of years ago. So,
20 minutes after she found out she was going, she decided this. So I told Darius, like, we have to get our wedding vows done and all that. She was like, I want to be there, it's going to be awesome. So we found out when the show was finishing, or when it was supposed to finish, we thought, I booked it after that, so it wouldn't interfere with anything. And then we just put out a general message in Discord saying everybody can come. It's fully welcome to come. We're getting a limo, which is what picked us up at the hotel, was a limo. So we can take several of you with us. Yeah. Everyone else can just get an Uber down or whatever if you want to come. No stress, no nothing. And there's people in that picture I didn't meet till that event, like Kenny Marsh and stuff like that. And they were all like, we want to come. And other people were like...
There's a good few faces that I didn't know.
Yeah, it's like, can we come? Can we come?
Deep Shades and stuff.
Yeah, Roger Brown came. Who was first time there. And Potter came. Who loved Potter. He's such an awesome guy.
Chris, yeah.
And there were a whole bunch of people came. And I think the show overran a little bit. And they wanted
didn't see the show.
They wanted to do a big close down of like, goodbye everybody. Yeah, at least the people who had to stay had to work. Is that the thing that was happening? Everyone else was at the wedding.
Right.
So, like, on the picture of the close down, there's like only like 10 people there because everyone else is at our wedding. It was a bastard. So I came back to the studio. We got the taxis back to the studio, walked in, and they'd finished. And they were packing down immediately. Spoke to Sco, spoke to everybody. Hope everything went well. And then they were like, we're going for a big meal and we're going to, say goodbye and all that. But we might not do that till later. The kids were starving. So I said, look, we're going to go for our dinner now, like a wedding dinner. With me and Emma and the kids, and then we'll meet up later on for like the after party and all that kind of stuff. So we're the only ones missing in the big dinner meal that you can see everybody closing down there. But that's because we were in the Olive Garden having an Italian meal down the road, which was really fun. But it was great to see those guys come. So I think you want to turn the tides a little bit. You said you had some questions for me.
They're not so much questions because we've talked a lot now, and I think you've probably answered a lot of the stuff that I was thinking about. But I know you was talking on the stream this morning with the guys, and you said about the dog and it biting you on the face, and me making that call to my dad. And that wasn't an easy call. It was more your mum I was more concerned about. Because I think my dad.
I can't imagine making that call if something happened to one of the kids, and I had to call Emma.
Well, it's not like it is now. I mean, kids get scrapes.
Oh yeah, the boys are covered in bruises.
Some bumps, absolutely, and a dog's bitten. But I mean, you was lucky. I mean, as you said on the stream, that I could have bet your fucking head off. That was a big Doberman, man, and the guy who owned that, he was a good mate of mine. But can say he's no longer with us.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not.
Did you hear this story about Gran? And do you remember her locking us in her house so we wouldn't steal anything? Do you remember that happening?
Yeah. That was you and...
Me, Jim, I think the girls as well.
No, was it just you and Andy?
No. It was me and Jim for sure. Andy wasn't there. I don't think Andy ever really met my Gran.
All right.
But she didn't trust us. So she went around the whole house and locked us. She was a weird one. She was just straight. I mean, you grew up with her.
Yeah, she was just old school, man.
I mean, she lived through 2 wars, that woman. She was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
She was a tough old bird, that. I never really liked her, though. Like, never. Which really annoyed me, because I wanted to like my grandma.
Yeah, she wasn't easy to like. I liked her because she thought I was great.
You were the
world,
golden light, yeah.
She'd make me apple pies and stuff, and, no fucker else would get a look in. So I did like her, but I didn't like the way she was. She could be horrible and harsh at times. She said some, but she was fucking tough, boy.
Yeah.
She was tough.
I mean, she went through some fucking shit.
Only tiny. She wanted to get on the back of my Hayabusa, and I'm like, Gran, you're like 90. You're not getting on the back of this.
Did my mum ever tell you, like, when I saved her when she got stuck in the bath,
that
I had to smash the house in to get in?
Yeah.
And she sent us the fucking bill.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a lot of good memories of that house.
No, that's where our dad died. Yeah. Well, I consider him dying that day. He did die.
Yeah, he did.
He did die, but he was brain dead after that.
He wasn't there.
That was not a good day.
No, that wasn't.
That was not a good day. That was a hell of a day. I remember your
That was the worst call I've ever had to make when I had to phone your mum.
Yeah, and then I had in fact, you didn't.
I did.
Oh, you phoned Andy.
No.
Yeah. You phoned Andy. Andy called me at work because
could I not get hold of?
No, me and Andy weren't speaking at the time. We hadn't spoke for about 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, we'd had a big falling out.
Did I know that then? Maybe I didn't know.
I don't think it mattered.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. If he did, it was like, we need to
it wouldn't have mattered.
Get older people.
Yeah.
So Andy called me at work. So I was at work. I was behind my desk and the phone goes, and it's fucking Andy. And I'm like, the fuck? And I was like, yeah, your dad's had a heart attack. Deal with it.
Did I ring Andy? I don't remember.
Yeah, you called Andy.
Right.
So
that's a good move.
So I then dived in a van because I was working at the van place.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed one of the vans out of the forecourt. I remember getting up from behind my desk. Two of my bosses were in the room and said, "My dad's just had a heart attack. I'm going." And they were like, "Cool." And just walked out, grabbed a key, random key off a desk, just grabbed a van, off I went. I drove to my mum's work, and it happened purely out of coincidence to coincide with the 10 minutes after she'd finished work, and she has to wait for the bus.
Oh, yeah.
So I drove to her work and must have driven past the bus that had her in it, got to her work, went down to the security team, was like, because she was the chef there at the time. And are the restaurant people still here? She was like, no, they've just left. It's like, fuck. So now my mum generally went shopping in the local town after work and had to wander around. So now I'm like, she could be anywhere. And she hasn't got a mobile. I don't know what the fuck to do. So I drove to the town, parked the van up somewhere, and just happened to catch her coming out of the bus. I must have like chased after it so much. And she was walking across the car park and I was going, Mum, Mum, Mum. And she saw me, she just walked over and I said, look, you need to get in the van. Dad's had a heart attack. And she dropped her bag on the floor. She nearly like collapsed on the floor. And she just went, is he dead? That's all she asked me. And I said, no, I don't think so.
Mm.
But we need to go to Blackpool right now because that's where it was.
Yep.
And on the way, we picked up your wife. We picked up your wife on the way. So I had to drive to your house, who was amazing because she has that utility bag like fucking Batman that she carries with her. So she wanted to drive. She was like, I don't think you should drive. And I'm like, I'm driving. I'm getting us there. And she went, okay. She opened the bag up and she had like tissues for her mum who was in pieces and, just helped her out the whole way there. But yeah, that was I remember, I think you were in the room at the time when the doctor was trying to explain it to us. And I went, so you're telling me he's a cabbage? Because they were really like pussyfooting around it.
So now this is the day after, 2 days after, then this is later on then?
This is before we switched off the machine because he wasn't live.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
We had a meeting to
I'm still in the day.
The day. I don't really remember much else of that day.
Right.
I remember getting there, seeing him, and he was brain dead and he was on life support or whatever. And just being like, what do you do? Because I don't know when you were there. Oh, you were with him.
Yeah,
you were with him when he collapsed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what was that like? I don't know. Do you want to talk about it? You don't have to.
That was really fucking bad.
Yeah.
I knew there was something wrong with him on the fucking day as well. You know, you think back and we were driving to Blackpool because what had happened was, right, my grand's garage had this old car in that was Grandad Pat's.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my dad had got in it to start it up and it was automatic. And I don't know how he'd done it, but he must have like banged the walls. So it's a concrete garage.
So it just kind of took off.
So it knocked the concrete off the base on the edge. So he got me down there to come and lever these fucking big concrete slabs back on, right? Because he couldn't do it and he wasn't really fit, was he, at that time as well? He had a couple of warnings. And on the way down there, we're driving down. We just got to Blackpool. He said, Rob, I've got to stop for a piss. Just pulls up on the main road against the farmer's fence and gets his dick out. And I was a splash. And I thought, we're about a minute away from Grand's. You couldn't wait. That was odd. But okay, maybe.
He was, I can tell you for sure, because obviously I still lived with them at the time, is he was definitely on the borderline for a while, and I didn't really realise it until after it had happened.
No, I knew he wasn't good.
He was exhausted,
just
doing nothing. I needed to go. He was in bed a lot.
Yeah, what they should have done. Well, I could say that because Ben's not here either. What they should have done with that garage is got a proper guy in to come and fix it. Nobody was short. None of us are short of money. Even it's a couple of £100 just to square the garage up. But no, my dad says, right, Rob, you come down with us and we'll do it. So yeah, no problem, I'll do it. So I could do it, right? And then as I'm doing it, and I'm like, I think I was sort of on my knees doing one of the walls, and the garage door was a bit out of line, and just sort of fixing it. He bent down for some reason to pick up a pair of pliers to pass to me.
Just went over.
Blew before he hit the fucking down. I'm like, I've seen it before as well.
Yeah.
And I knew straight away, like, Gran. For some reason, well, not for some reason, but as it happens, there was a guy in his garden. It was a lovely day as well in Blackpool. Who's an ambulance dude.
Oh, really?
And run round with his kit. Heard me shouting, my gran to phone the ambulance. He's run round here, and within like 2 minutes, they've got him. He's geared up.
Yeah,
my dad.
That's really lucky.
Well,
I mean, it didn't help, obviously, but if it could have helped, it would have helped.
If it could have helped,
yeah, it could have helped. It would have helped.
So that was straight away. I didn't have to do any compressions or mouth to mouth or anything, because he was there already, right on the gun. He got him in the ambulance, and then I had to make that call to your mum.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was like threatening me. Do not tell me he's fucking died.
Well, I think that was.
Like, well, it's not looking good.
That was in the van.
He's not
on the way there because he
hadn't put his stent in, so his heart had stopped.
Yeah.
So it was this artery had collapsed as he bent over, right? Shut off blood to his brain. So it was just all those minutes until they got him in the ambulance. Then they must have done something, opened him up a bit, shoved a stent in. I don't know how they knew it was that, but Clearly, these guys know what they're doing. And they managed to get his old ticker back working.
So a bit of hope.
But by then,
yeah,
damage was done, man.
Damage was done.
Right.
Which I didn't want to mess around like when because they were being very gentle, which is understandable.
What, in the hospital, you mean?
Yeah, because we had...
About 2 weeks late, he lasted for about 2 weeks. On automatic pilot.
I would have said it was about 2 days. Was it really?
No, fucking 2 weeks, man. Forever.
I know we stayed there.
So I was going backwards and forwards to Blackpool all the time.
Yeah, they gave us a room because Emma came and stayed.
Yeah, they put him in his own room,
Yeah, well, we had a hotel room, essentially, in the hospital. They have this floor, which is essentially just a hotel for people who just can't leave.
Yeah.
We stayed there.
Well,
she actually...
There's only one door and way out there, isn't there?
She was amazing. Like, Emma was amazing at the time. And she even... I know this sounds weird, but it actually really helped. I was so freaked out and all over the place. And she just had sex with me there. And it totally, brought...
Trust you.
Yeah, well, no, it totally, did what it needed to do. It took my mind away and came back focused and all that. And she was like, you just looked like you needed it. And that's what she said. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And I was like, okay, all right, we're good. And then we obviously got on with it and just supported my mum throughout that. But it was a rough time after that. But it was...
Your mum went through a rough time. We were all right.
Yeah, I was ready for it.
You were good at the funeral. I was ready for it.
I don't know how else to explain it, but I knew he was nearly dead.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. I remember some nights being in
bed.
See,
I actually thought today, because you said, I'm going to have this conversation with our kid while he's still down. I'm thinking, what does he fucking know?
Before, we should have done it a long time
ago. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but it was just, I knew my dad was going to die soon, like a year before he died. Not in a morbid way, but I was just like, you could tell he was slowing down things. He was so much older. He was like 65, I think, when he died, 66, something like that.
Yeah, I'm nearly 60.
Yeah, but he was also morbidly obese. And, didn't exactly take care of himself. Do you know what the most interesting thing was? I don't think Mum has ever told you this, but after he had died, Mum kept kind of going as normal, routine, right? And she came to me one day, about a week after he died, and she went, you need to eat more. I went, what do you mean? She said, all the food's piling up. I was like, I've not changed my eating habits at all. And that's when she discovered just how much food he was sneaking. Packs of sausages and bacon and all sorts. Because she was buying her normal routine shop. And she must have assumed it was me eating all this food. And then she's like, the fridge is full of food. Like, you need to make sure you're eating and looking after yourself. I'm like, I've not changed anything, I swear to you, I haven't. And she was like, is it Bob? And I went, yeah. Like, I used to come home from college on lunch.
I think you like the old cheese butties, didn't
you? I come home from college sometimes on lunch, and he'd be in there with like a big sausage, bacon, toasty, and all that. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just having a sandwich."
Oh, when we go around, the first thing he'd be on, wouldn't it?
I'm
having Rob bacon
it's always
and egg.
just for himself though. He'd make it for everybody, like kind
of. Well, no, when we used to go around at weekends,
yeah, but
so either
that
pick
was
you
so
up or I'd take
one.
you swimming and
that's
all
the
that,
scam of it all. He was doing it so he could have one. So he'd find an excuse to cook everything.
You about him with them steaks? Sue got some really nice steaks from Macro or something like that. They were fucking peach. And we're going to take him down for barbecue. You know this story?
No.
He fucking took him off. He's like, ooh, they're nice. Put them in the freezer and brought out some old shite meat.
He took your
some
meat
old fucking dog meat out, yeah? Phoned us up the day later. Hey, they're fucking great, these things. Can you get any more? No, laughing his ass off, taking the piss. Fucking Sue's like, cheeky bastard.
I know he banned one of my friends from going to any more house parties because he ate all the ham. And we
Who
had
was
friend,
that?
Jamie. Do you remember Jamie with
Yeah.
ginger hair? Well, tall, skinny lad with ginger hair. You will have seen him around.
Yeah. Was he wrestling at all?
He was. He was a commentator. He was too frail to wrestle, really.
Oh, okay.
But he came to one of the house parties once that we had for the family. So I invited my friends over as well. So Jamie had never seen food like it from where he'd been brought up. So they had like a full ham out and everything like that. And my dad said he sat and watched him for like 2 hours as he just kept eating all our ham. And he went, if you invite him back to our house again, son, you're buying his dinner. Fucking... Tell you what,
Why didn't you just say to him, well, that's enough? I would have said, that's enough for you. You've had enough now, lad.
I want to ask you about this because I remember this story in such a hilarious way now. But when we were all a bit skint and I was younger and you come over and you had Jim with you and I think the girls, he said he was going to pay for you to take us all out for dinner and he was going to go out with my mum or stay in. So he gave you some money for dinner and sent us to a restaurant that we've been to a few times. But he'd intentionally...
To a restaurant?
Yeah, it was a carvery. We went to a carvery.
Okay.
He said, you love it up there. But he'd intentionally knew that you wouldn't have enough money, right? So he must have known the meal was going to be like 30 quid, so he'd give you 20.
Yeah, but I would have checked.
No, you didn't. This is the funny part. No, this is true story.
Go on.
This is a true story. I 100% tell you it's a true story. So we went and had this carver, and the bill came, and you went, I haven't got no fucking money. And you had to go back.
Has he told you this happened?
No, I was there. I was in the restaurant. And you had to leave me and Jim to go back to the house to get another tenner.
Yeah, now I might have done that.
Yeah, and he said he got there and he was like, ha 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 ha, like he fucking got you. Like he fucking done you because he knew, laughing his ass off when he came back. I think he had the tenner waiting. But there you go.
I don't really remember. I do remember something leaving you guys in a restaurant once.
Yeah. It's fucking funny, man. He was a tight bastard.
It could be.
Well, what he thought was funny. Fucking laughing his ass off. That's what he did. It's not me, because I do the same with the kids. I always play them like that. Do stupid shit like that. Because I think it's funny. Like when they look back, I look back on that fondly, like, because it's just one of those stupid situations, just to have a bit of a play with somebody. Oh, good. Well, I think it's about time we've wrapped up, unless you've got anything else to say.
As soon as we turn the cameras off, I'll think of a million things.
That's always the way it goes. I can cast for 4 hours and then get off instead of...
I'll tell you what I will. I'll tell you what I'll finish on.
Okay.
Right. I'll tell you what I'll finish on. And that would be, my dad would be so happy the way you've turned out. Working for yourself. That was his biggest thing. He always wanted me to do it. Always wanted me to go abroad like he did. Saudi, and earn the money, then come back and then fuck about.
But he always pushed me away from it. Every step of the way.
No way.
You did?
I think he just changed his methods. No, because it didn't work with me.
It could be manipulation. I do wish I could ask him about it, because he constantly drilled into me that the route I should take was high school, college, university, and get a job somewhere stable.
Never ever did he say university was in my thing. Or Art Barbara.
Yeah, maybe he thought times
said at university it wasn't even a thing then, almost back.
Well, exactly. Maybe times had changed and he thought that was the safest route to go. But he never did anything like that. It's like, you always work for yourself. Every story you tell me is about you telling some boss to go and fucking stick it if they pushed you too far.
Yeah, he got me signed up in Massey Ferguson for the apprenticeship when I was 16. If I had my time again, I would have gone in the army because I loved it.
Oh, you loved the army, did you?
Yeah, fucking right. It was good, but I was too old by then. We'd had a gym and everything when I went in.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So...
There's is one I'd like to ask is, like, did you do that because you knew at some point it'd bite me in the ass, which is what it did. The corporate life bit me in the ass.
Real life, yeah, go on, because everybody does that.
It's like, you need to see what the real world is like if you get stuck in, like, a corporate loop.
Yeah.
And which I did, because I felt...
More so than me, I think.
Well, I got burned so badly that I was like, fuck every working for someone else. Like, fuck that. No way.
Yeah, I remember that car place. You were doing some good things, and somebody was taking all your steam and making as if they'd done it. And
yeah, I mean, it was a case of, I'd literally put so much money in that company's bank, like over £1 million over the time of raw money that was just in their account. And then they we're making you redundant now, but we can offer you data entry. And I'd have to have 2 friends, because they were friends, because the cowards...
Are they still trading, by the way?
I have no idea, to be honest. Once I left, I never went back.
I don't want to leave something. Bye.
Yeah, I was gone. Yeah. But it taught me so much, because one, how cowardly the top bosses are. Like, they had me fire over 50 lads. And as far as they're concerned, my job description was admin assistant, which I clearly wasn't doing that job. I was doing way more advanced things. But we had to let go of an entire branch of the company, which was 50 guys. They had them turn up in Stockport at a storage place, because that's where we're going to keep the vans. So they had them all turn up there, and then they were going to gather them all in one room and let them go. And then this director from down south, who I'd never really seen before, he was the big cheese of the company, says, "You're going to do it, Mike, because it'd be better if it comes from your voice." So I was so dumb that I genuinely thought that this is what will break me into the upper echelons, because if I can do this, then what can't I do? So I did it. I let all 50 of those guys go. I told them to explain the situation, let them go.
They were going to go. They had to go. So
they had to go. So, but it shouldn't have been my job to do it. No. Did I get a thank you? Did I get anything? Nope, they'd left. They got out of there as quickly as they possibly could. Got nothing out of it at all. And then ultimately it came down to we're making you redundant now, because we want to save on your wages, because you've made a lot of savings. So we can't think you're done. And you could go to data entry if you want. And they wouldn't do it either. So they got 2 of my friends to do it. who were like the head of finance and the head of another guy, who I was in the room with 24 hours a day, pretty much. They were in my office, and they were sat there like, so I can offer you data entry. And I was like, fuck off, man.
So this has worked out. Clearly, so now it seems to have worked out for you, the streaming and everything. And you was doing it with Andy. Have you ever been and said why he's no longer?
Yeah, I don't know if you actually caught it, but...
Well, I have an idea why.
Well, Andy, what happened is that Andy started being very vocal about a couple of weeks ago about being really upset at one of the mods.
Yeah.
And
I've met this mod. I mean, he's a lovely fella, isn't he?
Yeah. You've met all the mods. Yeah, they're lovely guys.
See that, but you know, for me with Andy, he sticks to his guns, and he is what he is. He's never changed.
No,
you don't want to change for anybody, which is fair enough, isn't it?
I knew that going in, and we had a dinner before I invited him in fully and signed him on.
Yeah,
I was like, we're going to have this conflict because I've known Andy for like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
I've seen him have these encounters with a lot of people, so I knew what I was getting involved in. And again, everything I'm saying right now, by the way, is things that I've talked to Andy about. He's fully aware of this. So we sat over dinner talking about this, and I was like, we're going to have these moments, and it's important that we deal with them in a proper way. And the only thing I was really ever concerned about is that when Andy loses his temper, he loses it in a massive way. It tends to let things build up, and then it kind of explodes.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, that's what happens. Is it'll generally build up, and then it'll explode. And it can be over literally anything. It can be something so minor like a pen's missing or something like that, and he'll completely freak out. And obviously, we're in the public eye a lot, and we do get we get like an overwhelming amount of positive feedback, but it's always the negative stuff that you see because that reminds you of stuff. So I was very aware that he might blow up on stream or something like that, especially if it's now day to day instead of like when you choose, right?
Yeah.
It's different than a web show where it's like contained for 1 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If it's every single day, then it can get to you. So we talked about it. He was like, it's fine. And I always said to him, like, when you are going to blow up at me because it doesn't bother me at all. I don't care if you're going to stand in the office, scream, shout, whatever. I'm fine. I don't care.
Why would he know?
Well, he does, because that's just part of who he is.
Have me and you ever fallen out?
Have me and you ever fallen out?
I mean, you might have been fed up with me if I was being like...
No, I don't think so, but we're not around each other all the time. We've gone months and months without seeing each other regularly. It's not a problem.
Well, the last few years, yeah.
Obviously, but me and Andy were together like 8 hours a day before he even worked it. It was day to day to day to day. And plus, I'm very laid back. And I know he's not actually...
to a point.
Yeah, I'm not actually... Yeah, I mean, I have to get...
Got a job to do.
Yeah, I've got a job to do. And I know Andy does this because I've seen it several times. So I was like, it's fine. I don't really care because I know you don't mean it. I know it's not a personal attack. And I know that in half an hour it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. But I'd rather you do it here than like out in the public and cause us problems for business. And he did blow up.
In public?
Semi-public. It was amongst the mod team. And there's a couple of other people in that. We have a group chat, obviously, that talk about it. He did blow up in there. And he was right. This is what always bugged me, is he had been provoked.
All right.
He had been provoked, but he went about it in the wrong way.
Andy was provoked?
Yeah, there was just a snidey comment that was made. That wasn't like overly mean or anything like that. It was just a snidey comment that set him off. But that's all it took for the dynamite to go off.
Right.
So...
And then he goes full fucking ball.
Yeah,
he'll go for your throat. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Which, again, and that made a lot of people really uncomfortable.
Thinking, fucking hell,
some people were leaving the chat like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. It really caused a big earthquake. And the worst part about it was I didn't know. It happened on a Saturday before the web show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm setting up the web show. I'm doing all the stuff that's involved in the web show because I 100% do that. Andy just shows up, sits in the chair, it's all prepared, it goes. So I was doing all that stuff. So this was happening while I was doing other things. So Andy literally comes to the web show, doesn't mention it, does the web show as normal. And everything goes on. And then the next day on Sunday, I start catching up with my phone, which has got so many messages. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's happened? And not only that, I think we knew, or I knew something was going on. Well, exactly. People would know. The word was spreading something had happened. But the only person who didn't know was me. So I didn't know because I'd literally been sat in the room and I had no idea. So on the Monday, so this was Sunday, so I tried to sort it out via text message. I said, look, what the fuck is going on? Like, this can't happen. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So the next day on Monday, we came to talk about it. And this is where it gets muddled because Andy remembers it differently, but there's no two ways about it in my mind here. It ultimately came down to one question. It's like, I can't go to bed thinking that you're going to like blow up publicly or somewhere like that and causes a massive business problem, because that puts a lot of stress on me when I'm going to sleep. Right?
How are you going to pay his fucking wages?
Well, exactly. Like, this is a business that's not only paying for your wages, your children.
You know, I love Andy, and I think the world of him, like you and Jim. You know, that's how I respect Andy. But I don't understand why he just didn't toe the line a little bit for that. I think, well, that's
what I thought. Job. So, I mean, I didn't think.
I don't even know what he's doing now as a job. I know he's working.
Yeah, he's working for. He's doing graphics design still. He's still doing what he does. And like I say, we are speaking and stuff like that. And we're going to see each other this week. But it was.
You got pictures the other day. You got the cinema.
No, he didn't. He's moving house as well, so he's got a lot.
I had heard that as well, because I know I've watched a couple of his streams recently.
Well, it came up because he said it had been causing him a lot of issues mentally, like, because he lets things dwell. So I was seeing all this stuff going on. It wasn't directed at me or anything like that, but it was getting really to the point of like one of the mods was being harassed, and they didn't know what it was about. So I was talking to them. I'm like, "What's going on?" It's like, I have no fucking idea. I don't know what he's on about. Because Andy was saying, it's been going on for a year and all this stuff. And I was like, I asked them.
Andy was saying he was being harassed.
Yeah, Andy was saying things were being said about him for like the last 12 months, and he's let it build up and all this stuff. So I asked that mod straight out. I was like, look, something's about to happen here. It's obviously always going to come back to me. Always. Because I'm the linchpin between it all. So it's always going to come back to me, whether it's directed at me or not. So I was like, have you done something? I need to know. Because if I'm blindsided, I'm not going to be happy. Like, tell me now if you've done something so I can deal with it. If that means you have to leave, like some mod or whatever, that's the way it's got to be. But I need to know now before this goes public, and I have to clean up the mess, because that's how it feels sometimes. Is you're the one who's got to clean up the mess, right? And it's like, I have no idea. I don't know what I've done. I then contacted Andy. It's like, I don't know what's happening. I haven't spoke to you for like 12 months. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Can you tell me? And Andy was like, you know what you've done, but I've seen screenshots of things you've said, blah 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 blah. So he come back to me saying, this is what he's told me. I don't know what he's talking about. I might have said something out of turn at some point. I can't remember if I have. But I couldn't honestly tell you. So I was like, okay, well, we'll have to wait and see. So before it got too crazy, I was like, fucking hell, I'm going to have to contact Andy. But he blocked me in a number of ways, like on Twitter and the Discord. Now, he said that was accidental. Whatever. So I just called him, ultimately.
This is at the time when
this is now. This is like a week ago. Yeah, it's like a week ago. So I just ended up like getting in contact with him. I was like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? It's been a year. What's been happening? If somebody has been doing something under the table towards you, I want to know, because I still love you, right?
Yeah.
So if something bad is happening to you, I need to know, because I can't deal with things I don't know about. So he come back to me, and then we got to talking a bit, and it kind of came round about like more like him leaving. He wasn't happy. I think that one.
Whoa, wasn't happy. He was having to leave.
Well, he didn't have to leave. He quit. So I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that. I think he probably regretted.
But didn't you give him an ultimatum either?
Well, no. The question comes down to this. This is ultimately that entire day, sat as we are right now. This is how the conversation took place. Yeah. Literally, me sat here, him sat there.
Which is the way I would have done it.
I need you to tell me, because it was a Monday morning, so we had to cancel the stream. I was like, I've got something to deal with, because as you just said, the worst part of, and I said this to Andy directly, I was like, the worst part of having you work here was when I had to treat it like a job. Because that is the worst. That's not what we're here to do. If I had to start doing boss stuff, then we fucked up somewhere. So I came in, I was like, we need to talk. And he's like, okay. And I said that this thing's happened where you blew up and then didn't tell me. And now this is happening. And I just need to know that if you need to blow up or somebody fucks up, because as I said, Andy was right. He was provoked. But we went about it completely the wrong way. If we go about it a different way, we're fine. So just don't do that. Don't do that publicly. Don't go publicly mental, like you've got to defend yourself from an invading attack. That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, annoyed me the most is because you were right. You were absolutely in the right. But not that way. Because we're still a business. You know what I mean? We're still a business. And we have to look at it as a business sometimes, as fun as it is. So can you tell me you won't do that again? And you'll come to me, or we'll deal with it a different way. Some other way other than this big, long stream of massive expletives that you're sending to people. And he was like, no.
He's good, isn't it?
So I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that, bro? Like, but he says it's different, and it isn't. And it annoys me to this day, because we spoke about it over and over again, is he believes, and he believes it, that I said, I don't want you to blow up at that guy again, like I was defending that guy, which it was never the case. So when he came back in contact with me, it was never the case. It was just in general, anybody. When he came back to talk to me like a week or so ago, the first question he asked is like, was this whole thing about this mod? And I was straight away, Andy, for like the 50th time, no. I don't care if you and a mod have a personal beef, or you and fucking Bill down the street have a personal beef. I'm not interested. I don't care. If it affects us as a business, then I'll be interested. But you not liking someone or them not liking you, I couldn't care less. There's a million people in the world who probably really dislike me, right? Because of WoW. I don't care. It's not interested. If it affects us as a business, then I'm interested. But you falling out with somebody, as long as you... Because they had worked at PreachCon together. And they were fine. I was like, that's fine with me. Because like, there's stuff out of all of you, right? And I'm not choosing sides or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you don't like each other... Be professional about it, unless it's a professional problem. This isn't a professional problem. Because it was based on a fucking WoW incident in-game. Exactly. That's my face. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Honestly. That face is... Maybe this is the lamb reaction to such a thing. Because when I was like, trying to sort through this, I'm like, is this for real? This is something that happened in-game that's led to this.
Who amongst us has not shit all over somebody in WoW?
It was so fucking dumb.
Fucking hell. No, I'm needed on that. Don't know. Fucking hell. I did it the other day. I got a right bollocking off Steph. I needed it. I thought I could use it and I couldn't.
Well, it was such a dumb reason that the whole thing had happened. It's like, I and everyone else was just hoping that you could just have a fucking beer and shut the fuck up about it, the pair of you. Because it's not worth this now 6-7 month back and forth you guys have had.
Wow.
Yeah, it just went on forever because no one would back down. And I didn't want anybody to back down. I wanted them to resolve it, right? Sort it out, because it's nothing. This is a nothing thing. But it escalated and escalated to the point where, it just got vicious. So, at this point, that's all I asked is like, don't do this like this. Can't have that. That's all I wanted. Is that I can't think that one of my employees, now I have to treat it this way, that one of my employees is out there publicly or in front of a camera or in messages that can be screenshotted and sent everywhere. I can't have that risk that one day I'm going to wake up and you're not even going to tell me that this has happened. So he remembers it differently, but that's, as far as I'm concerned, it's 100% the way it was. And that's why we didn't agree on the day. And he was like, well, I've got to go because I'm not going to agree to that.
Oh, I think I said to you at the time, you know what to do.
Well, I can't,
deep down what if it has to be done, it has to be done. But nobody. I mean, there's a lot of us chat because I'm part of the chat who miss Andy a fucking lot.
And it pisses me off.
I have no idea. I'm sure you probably miss it more.
No, yeah, that's what pisses me off. Is people saying, I miss Andy, why don't you do this? It's like, nobody misses him more than I do. Because I lost a brother that day.
Yeah, I know.
And people, I know from their perspective, it's like, well, I care this much. I'm like, I understand how much you care. Yeah. Nobody cares more than I do.
No, I don't. I know that, bro.
And that's what people throw it in my face a lot. It's like, oh, you should just get Andy back on that. It's like, well, it's not like that because this is the real world. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. We still haven't resolved it.
I don't know how we would have gone in, but he probably wouldn't have gone to Germany to do the commentating with you. I couldn't see he couldn't. I'm pretty sure that I don't think he could stand there for 10 hours with nothing to say but say stuff.
Maybe.
Like
I can't say how those would have worked. Whether I would have stayed here and done the stream, covered things while I was away. Or something like that. I don't know, but I know I would have taken. I don't know. I know I would have taken him to Las Vegas. And this is what I said to him. I was like, bro, I was in fucking Las Vegas last week. Do you know how much I would have given to have you there? Because we've talked about going to Las Vegas so many times. And, it just was unnecessary. It was, as far as I concerned, it was completely unnecessary.
So it's not ruled out totally that you would do some stuff with him again?
No, I would never say never to anything, but we haven't actually met yet since all this happened. So I told him I told him the days I was available. I was like, the only times I can't be available are like Wednesday and Thursday because I raid then. But every other night of the week, I'm pretty much I'm available. And he texted me back a couple of days later to say he's dealing with house stuff.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I've seen it on stream. He's saying that he was just about to sign or something, I think.
Yeah, I did his mortgage stuff for him a couple of days ago. He needed some stuff from work for mortgage stuff, so he needed some forms.
Yeah.
So I did that, and he said we'll meet up at some point. So it's
I didn't realise he was still at home with his. Is it his mum or her mum?
Suzanne's mum and dad. Suzanne's Mrs. mum and dad. Yeah, that's where he's living right now. So yeah, it was a sad day, but it is. You have to kind of keep it under wraps because I don't like putting this stuff out in public. I don't think it's anyone's business. Andy.
Well, I don't know about that. I think something needed a little bit more probably needs to be said at the time because fucking those web shows were awesome.
Yeah,
some of the funniest things I've ever fucking seen, and those videos that you and him put together, those daft orcs when you got your head in his head on them fucking mounts. The worst fit, but the funniest, fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and also the way of the warrior as well. You know the very first video that started it all off.
Yeah, it was great stuff. But it's what happens. I mean, ultimately, that's the way it went.
We've done a lot of great things since, but I as a chat, as a streamer, watching, I'd like to see more.
More.
You online. Twitch
well, it's the issue is, as you can probably imagine, is you'd lost 50% of your workforce.
Yeah.
That's not easy. We didn't stream at all, regularly until Andy worked here. That was something that happened after Andy started. Yeah, so doing everything on my own, and we have offered the job to other people. There's issues with that, as we talked about before we came on air, actually, with getting them here because they're mostly. It's not an easy job to do because there's no job description. You need to be able to do everything.
Have you ever seen that? I mean, we talked. I mean, I've mentioned that guy's name, Break, who lives around here, the PUBG streamer.
It's not really what we're looking for either. We're looking.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
trust is everything. I said this when I was talking to the last guy we offered the job to. He was trying to figure out what it was, and it's like I don't know how to do some of this stuff. I was like, that's fine. It's trust we're after. And that's more important than anything. It's like I can trust you with this. We're a small business.
He didn't come to PreachCon, did he?
Who?
The last one.
Oh, Nubs. No, he couldn't actually because he had to take another job. Because
all right.
Yeah. That was the nightmare of it. He was like, "This is ridiculous." Like,
on
the one hand, he couldn't.
We paid for the hotel room, don't we?
Yeah.
We got half the money back.
Did you?
Fucking Sue, she's sharp as fuck, dude.
What for?
There was a fucking leak in the room.
Oh, nice.
The aircon, just a bit of water drip. Well, it was a fair bit of water to be honest, but it didn't. I was asleep. I didn't give a fuck. I was smashed.
Well, Emma was
Sue got half the money
kicking ass because they jacked up the prices so much now when they know when PreachCon's coming because obviously we have to go in and arrange it. So now it used to be that you could book really cheap and then as it filled up it started to raise the price, which is like their normal algorithm. Less rooms, they charge more. But now they know when PreachCon's coming. So now when they get the booking, they jack the prices up like 4 times to make sure they get as much money as possible. To the point where it cost us, because we provide the hotel rooms for all the guests.
You do?
Yeah.
We didn't for us.
For special guests.
Yeah, okay, yeah. For your patrons. I didn't know that though.
No,
that's nice.
Not the patrons, Bay and Talis.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, at the time, but
no, I don't. No.
That's why Emma's so good because Emma will do all that, and that's why she's repaired our relationship with BlizzCon. Is Emma will sit and talk to people like via email. She'll have 12 or 13 emails back and forth, getting to know people.
What was she on the other day? Was she streaming the other day?
Yeah, she streamed for the mental health awareness.
Was she playing WoW?
Yeah, she played some classic WoW for a bit.
And she Alliance?
Yeah, she's at Alliance. Yeah. Not on our server. Anyway, we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for your time, brother. It was great having a chat with you for 3 hours of talking. Easy, innit? Now you've just done your first shift at the Waste
Easy,
World
it's 10 past. So you raided me a bit. I want to get on.
I've got drama time in 45 minutes.
I've been fed, so I'm fucking off now. Got what I wanted.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening. Say goodbye.
When's the boys home?
Say goodbye.
Bye, chat.
Pick them up.